and welcome to another episode of Our Geeky Kindles, the podcast where smut is better with friends.
Yes.
And speaking of friends,
We have
Ellie is here to support you, my sweet dog. We have our friend Hope joining us, of course.
Yay.
As we round out the SJM masterpieces. Well, not all of them. The tip of the iceberg, some might say.
The ones that have the spice content that we want to talk about.
The ones that deliver what we care about.
Yes.
Y'all, this is our final installment until the next book is published. I know one is in the works for the ACOSF series. But yeah, this is A Court of Silver Flames that I finished early this morning.
That's on brand.
It's true to form.
Yeah. True to Anna's form.
Skating to the finish line. I have a job and I complete it.
Yes.
Right in the nick of time.
That's right.
I always get my timing wrong, and I finished it like a week ago. And so I try to drag it out at the end, but of course the downhill plummet of plot and everything happens all at once in the last
I know
8% of the book. So then I can't pace myself because I'm like, what the fuck?
You can't possibly pace it. I know.
Yeah. So it's been a week.
They have to be kind of read all in one sitting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Especially the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we'll get to that. But you know what's possibly more important?
So many more important things to talk about than A Court of Silver Flames.
Today, on this day, I feel like we have to timestamp things that are news that is unfolding in real time.
Yeah.
We are recording this on a Sunday, and this is the Sunday
October 1st.
After Taylor Swift showed up to the Kansas City Chiefs game and made all of our dreams come true.
Perfect 100. 87 and 13.
Yeah.
They showed up. I incidentally was just sitting there with my partner, who is now, his whole personality is fantasy football. It's fine. It is what it is. It's your fault.
Oh, you had
Katie Bird.
a real life moment.
So I shit you not. So I'm sitting there on a Sunday, just trying to chill. It was Sunday, right? Mm-hmm. Just trying to sit on the couch with Jay. It's football day. I'm trying to be, I don't know. I'm just trying to rest. And I look up and I'm like, this is the Chiefs. Wait a minute. And then phone started blowing up, and sure enough, they panned to
Mother was there.
Mother was there, and I forget the first thing that happened when it dawned on me. I'm like, Taylor Swift is there. Are we all watching this?
God. I
think I saw a TikTok or someone texted me, and then I looked up and I'm like, wait, I'm watching this right now. And my ass was glued to that couch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We were watching a completely different game because my partner wanted to watch a different game because his running back was on there. And once I started getting all the texts that Taylor was at the Chiefs game, I was like, we're changing this channel immediately.
Sorry, but there's no choice here.
The euphoria I felt just watching and knowing she was there. I have never been so invested in a football game.
Donna in the booth, just chatting, eating her chicken tenders.
That was the cutest.
Cleaning up. Did you also see the video of her cleaning up the cups
in
the suite?
Of course.
She's picking up beer cans. She's throwing stuff away.
She's like, I'm going to leave this place better than I found it.
Yeah, one of us. I didn't have that.
You were watching it in real time?
Football. Gross.
It was sure. It was hilarious to be actually watching the because I'm not watching the game. I'm watching Mother. I'm watching Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
The announcers, the whole
everybody
game,
lost it.
The only point of that game
was that Taylor Swift was there.
You've seen the NFL Twitter bio. It's like NFL Taylor's version. Taylor was here.
Yeah.
The world as we know it, history is being rewritten. It is happening. It's unfolding before us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm deeply invested.
I love it. I'm here for it.
It's my only For You page. It's all that's on my For You page.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Same.
I'm just so, it was a girl saying that she's like, I'm just so happy that Taylor gets to be small girl.
She gets to be small girl.
He's large boy.
He is large boy.
He is
6'5".
6'5", 250 pounds.
Because she's 6 foot.
I saw some.
5'11".
I'm sure it was also on TikTok of imagine the album we're gonna get after she has to climb a man like a tree.
Absolutely.
We're ready.
I'm sorry. If she wrote I Think He Knows about Joe fucking Allen.
Yeah. This is going to be hot.
I can't wait.
Because Travis Kelce is actually hot.
He's a classic Lego man.
Yeah,
so
he is.
we're, I understand.
And his type is just Viking.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce is.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. He's like squarely in my Venn diagram.
I feel like the Travis Kelce of it all has really clarified for me that I think that even though it's not what we all want, what we all need is a himbo.
Yes.
We don't want it, but I think that's what we need.
That's what we need.
We need a himbo.
It's called sexual healing.
It's
this is sexual healing. This is important.
And after being with someone for 6 years who like made you like locked you away basically.
These are the TikToks I'm invested in. I'm loving this dialogue.
I love the back and forth of like she wears like these bandanas over her face when she's with Joe and they like duck and their heads on. And then you just see videos of Travis being like, I love her. I'm obsessed with her.
Talking openly, proudly. Like it's so beautiful.
Taylor being in public, going to a football game, like she would never do that with Joe because he'd be like, I don't want you to be seen in public.
Well, she would try. Like I saw a great mashup that was like showing all the times where she was like proudly saying, Joe wrote this with me, like proudly talking about Joe and his accomplishments. And then it panned to Joe being asked anytime about Taylor, and he's like
always divers
like
I'm not talking about that.
Like his face falls. And then the video, I mean, I would link it. I'm sure I have it saved somewhere. But it goes to Travis, people asking about Taylor Swift, and he's like, he's discreet, but he's like, I'm so glad that she came.
He's like, she's incredible. She's
incredible.
Yeah.
Like, just respecting her.
Yeah, I saw a tweet. Are they still tweeting X? I saw
it's tweet.
I saw a tweet that was like, I feel like he's the first person who's dated her who knows that he's dating her.
Yes.
You're
like,
dating
what did you think was
Swift.
going to happen?
You're dating Dr. Taylor Allison Swift, and he fucking knows it.
Well, like, it's not actually possible to hide that you're dating Taylor Swift. So you need to embrace, and I'm not saying like, I mean, I want her to have privacy, like if that's what she wants.
Sure.
But like, there's no hiding her.
No.
And she doesn't want to be hidden anymore, from what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Like, I think she seemed very happy.
And I think she's also realizing that about herself too, because she hid herself away for so long, and there was COVID, and then
she did it
like post COVID, she was still writing but not going out very much.
She was healing after all of her, the press was terrible, and all the rumors are, what is it? Rumors are terrible, but most of them are true.
Yeah.
Like, it was hard, and I get that, but like, this feels like a victory lap. Like, hey, I am who I am.
And I think the Eras Tour is helping her be like, oh, this is why I do this.
Taylor Swift.
This is why I do this, because I want to be around these people. Like, hiding away from them was not what I loved, and I get to be with them every night for over a year, for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I want someone who can do that too.
I have two thoughts about that.
Please.
One is I saw a TikTok that was like a side-by-side of like her choreo on the first night of the tour, and then it was like the same choreo like much later.
She's so fucking into it.
She seems so happy.
The confidence.
And so
She's come
vibrant.
alive.
Yes, and the second thought that I have about that is that I think that's developmentally appropriate for a girly landing in her early 30s of like, this is actually who I am, and I feel good about it, and like
unapologetically stepping into like, I think at the parallel process, because I was born in 92, she's born in 89, as we all know. Like, it is really powerful to see a girly, a couple years older than me, like stepping into this. Like, this is my body. This is my personality. These are my talents that I'm not fucking apologizing for. These are the people in my life.
Yeah.
This is my power. Like, it's stepping into this. It's really beautiful to watch because it's a parallel process. I'm growing up too, and I am becoming more unapologetic about who I am as a person, and it's really beautiful to watch.
And I love that she gets to show us like all of these sides. Like, yes, I'm silly, I'm goofy, I'm weird, I dance like a crazy person, and I'm just silly, but also I'm really fucking hot, and I'm sexy, and like I have a lot of these feelings. Like sometimes I feel depressed, and here's a song about that. Like, we can see all of these sides, and it's like, that's
a woman right there. That's the experience of being a human.
Well, I think that's what she's brought to the table from the beginning. The conversation of even when she was a teenager writing songs about her experiences of like, we don't really let women talk about their lives honestly in that way, and it's lovely that as she continues evolving. Like, what a gift for someone to be vulnerable about that. And I think that's why it only bops, because we're all like, oh my God, I felt that way too.
Yeah.
Like, it's very universalizing.
It's giving a voice. And I think what is it? Life imitates art. It's just like this beautiful, this is something we see portrayed it, but it's really playing out as she's growing up. Like she's stepped into her womanhood.
32 and still growing up.
Yeah. And it's this like, she's like, this is who I am. This is what I love to do. This is, I think the unapologeticness of her new relationship is what stands out to me. And it's, she's with someone who feels the same way and is proud to be with her and doesn't dim her light.
Yes. Proud to be with her. He's fully employed, a full-time job.
Oh my God. Not a gig worker. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
in a different field.
What was Joe doing? Nothing.
Well,
I ain't never seen you in a movie.
Yeah.
I still can't picture his face.
He was in the Harriet Tubman.
Just a white dude.
Oh,
he was in
just a white man.
Oh my God, the memes about the being released, the Declaration of Independence.
Because she dates so many British men.
British tyranny.
Yes. Like, red, white, and blue, motherfucker.
I mean, Travis Kelce is desperately American.
Yeah,
that's true. The squarest head that I've ever seen.
If a cheeseburger walk,
cheeseburger backpack.
Yeah, cheeseburger backpack.
Oh my God.
Unapologetically, that is.
What do we? Of course, I'm here to represent like the Gaylor side of
always
things, and so I wonder what y'all think about like. I've seen a lot of shit of like, clearly this is a PR relationship with the like 1989
I'm curious.
set. You know what I'm talking about? The like 1989 bedroom set that he wore out. Like, what are our thoughts on like the PR relationship aspect?
So I see that, but
I'm not mad.
I think TMZ are bad people. They're bad fucking people, and they should not have jobs. But they did,
to be clear,
leak that photo of Taylor and Travis at the after party for Chiefs, and she was sitting on his lap.
I saw that.
So
I think she
at a private event.
Yeah.
Where there's not press there,
yeah.
and you're sitting on his lap, that doesn't seem PR to me.
I see it.
Yeah.
I think
get that.
she's definitely. I mean, I think Travis's feelings are real. Have we all seen the photos of him looking like? I think
the way the stars
truly and
tender.
Like he's into her. It's really so that end of it.
I love that.
And I mean, I don't know. Maybe it got started as a PR. Maybe it got started as a PR idea.
That's smut, baby.
And then maybe
this is a forced proximity, like a relationship of convenience,
fake dating. Yeah, like
I'm here.
So what if it is? So what? And like I don't. Of course, our romantic hearts want to think that it's not. But like, so what if it is?
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't care.
I think they're actually in love, like this. Also, does she fucking need any press? Also, he just won a Super Bowl. He doesn't need press.
Yeah.
Like I'm confused.
Taylor doesn't need
if this now the little actors that she did, like maybe they needed press. Travis Kelce doesn't need press.
Like Tom Hiddleston. Like, he probably did need press for Marvel movies or whatever.
Yeah, Taylor Swift sure as hell doesn't
need it, and I don't think Travis needs it either.
This is the Gaylor crossover that I'm very happy to represent in this space.
By all means.
Which is that I have seen some content about, like, Taylor's taking one for the team and running some interference for her girl Sophie, who's getting so much bullshit in the press right now that it's like Taylor
really
would
cool.
not do this normally, but I saw someone that was like, no, she called up her dude on the down low and was like, hey, we're gonna run this shit because Sophie, she doesn't need all this heat right now.
It was like a timeline of like, you know, that picture of Taylor sitting across from Sophie, like leaning in.
Yes.
Because you know Sophie's talking her shit, and she's like, I'll take care of this.
Yes.
All she needs to do is step outside. And,
exactly.
I got goosebumps.
Literally, it's women protecting women.
Yeah.
Well,
she was like, oh, hell no.
Fuck no. Yeah.
And all, you know, the vulnerable woman in us, we're like, yes, like that's the power of being protected and being advocated for. When like it sucks that we need other people in power to corroborate our stories before we're believed. It sucks.
That is a bummer.
You know, it's really meaningful whenever someone in power, you know, the most powerful woman right now is able to like say, hey, no, I think Sophie is. Here's my apartment, actually.
Yeah, she's like,
you can stay here with your children.
Yeah, so that was the other, I'm going to poorly paraphrase another Gaylor TikTok, which was Sophie was papped, like, leaving Taylor's apartment with her kids. She's got her kids now. We love that.
Yeah.
But she was wearing this sweatshirt that had a big logo on the front that said Puss Casino?
So what? Okay, so I do know what this is. I can clear this up. So there's a TikTok. His name's Jake, I think.
Yeah.
He's like, his name used to be like Octopussy, and that's his merch. So she's merch. Yeah, she's wearing merch. She like, I saw videos of him being like, "Oh my god, Sophie Turner is wearing my merch." I'm just like this random kid.
I'm just a dude. Yes.
Puss Casino. That's.
But also, then Gaylor was like, "Do we not like?" Everybody knew that paparazzi was going to be there.
Yeah.
Like Sophie wore that on purpose. Of like, sure, have your little football moment, but like, I'm in the apartment with my kids, and like, are we just calling Taylor's apartment the Puss Casino? Like, literally.
Is that what we're saying?
I just love it, and I think that is really like consistent with just like it being empowered over all. Like, it's going to be a shit show of a circus anyway. So like, let's do it on purpose. Like, how can we like interact with this and like manipulate this in a way, which I think is classic Reputation era.
I think that's Taylor's. She's so good at it. She's like, I know exactly how to do this.
I'm going to get press regardless. Let's use this for the greater good.
Yeah, if I step outside, every single news outlet is going to talk about whatever the fuck I do. So I might as well use it to get Sophie's name out of the news circuit.
Accepting the things I cannot change, changing the things I can, and having the wisdom. That's a fucking serenity prayer right there.
She knows
because she's like, you know what? We can't change the paparazzi, but we can hide from them, Joe Alwyn. We can hide from them for 6 years, sure.
We could try.
We could harness this for good.
Yep.
Yeah, she's like, you're gonna reduce me down in my relationship again. Always, you are gonna do that. So let's fucking go. Let me get my himbo. We're gonna go outside.
Oh, in the getaway car.
In a getaway car.
God, that purple car.
And you know what? It brings hope to us.
I know.
Like it's I don't know. It's like she's greater than. She's just legend at this point. It's just we can all like with the Gaylor stuff, with the whatever. We can all put our own hopes and dreams onto her. That's the beauty of. I don't know. She just inspires hope. And it's life is hard. We need folks who can bring some sunshine and light.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all over our free page. It's just everything.
And NBC is using Welcome to New York over their promos for because the Chiefs are playing the Jets today, and Taylor's supposed to be there.
Oh my god!
And so they've been playing Welcome to New York over their promos, and I think it's Taylor's version because here's my theory. So Fox Sports,
the way we put
so obviously we know the album is already recorded because it's coming out in like a couple weeks.
Sure.
And so Fox Sports asked Taylor to use her music for their promos, and she said no because Fox is obviously a bad network. She's like, I'm not giving you my music, ain't no way. But then NBC used her music, and so she had to give them permission to use it. And if she gave them permission, she's not going to let them use Scooter's version. That's true. She's going to give them her version.
It's got to be
hers. So I'm pretty sure that's Taylor's version. Yeah.
Interesting.
Did y'all see that Travis is big relationship number 13?
Yes, I loved that theory.
It's her 13th, like,
but I'm
public.
You can't.
One.
I know you're eating it up. You're eating it up. But like, you can't. You can't.
He's
fabricate that.
No.
He's my new dad. You can't fabricate that. But did she?
She's a mastermind.
But like, she's a mastermind. Like, I think she can fabricate her.
So none of it's
Karma
accidental.
is her boyfriend. Like, I think when you are like feeding into this, like, things work out in that. Like, when you know,
the universe is at play. I firmly believe that karma is at work all around us. And if you notice, if you're watching, you'll notice. Like, interesting.
It's coming back around.
Nothing is accidental. Oh, I'm fascinated. I'm invested.
I can't wait.
I understand that people are not Swifties. Okay, cool, whatever. But like, if you like, how can you not at least like hear this and be like, what the fuck? What? Tell me more. Like, how can you just passively hear this and be like, oh, but she's not great.
Women.
Yeah,
I think like the only.
When people are like,
women
hate women, men hate women.
I hate Taylor Swift. It's like, why? I mean, I'm not saying that you have to love her music. You don't. Like, there are artists that I respect that I don't listen to their music very much. Like, I think Pink is an incredible artist. I don't listen to her music. Like, I think she's super talented. And but I would never be like, I hate Pink. Like,
no, it's not necessary.
It's just misogynistic.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
I think it's because
it's aggression against
she's
women.
a woman who takes up a lot of space, and like, she gets a lot of attention, and some of that is her doing, and some of it's not. Some of it she didn't ask for. Like, and that's not her fault that she shows up somewhere, and then all of a sudden, all the news outlets are talking about it. Like, I mean, she can control it, but that's not really her fault. Like, she just is like, is who she is.
This is just blown out of her hands. Like, you have no control over the world that we live in and how it's all structured now. And she's taken it and made it into something that serves her and serves vulnerable people. Yeah. How dare she profit?
A woman take control of her life.
It's important conversations though. Like, and I think it's timely and it's courageous of her to, like, you know, even with bad press and all that, to step in and be like, yeah, I'll let myself, I don't know. I will have the words for it one day, but it's just, I think it's really impactful to have had these past few months of, like, really stepping into the Swiftie life. And
Me too.
But like realizing, oh, this is a whole, you know, and the Eras Tour helped with it, but just like, oh no, we're all in this. We're all, this is the reclaiming, like, this is a feminist like moment. This is justice for all. I don't know. It's just I get goosebumps sometimes as I scroll through, and I'm like, okay, this is all very interesting.
Yep, I be crying.
I
just cry about it all the time.
I just grin like a fool. I just cry. What am I doing?
Like,
this is the magic.
All the videos of, like, it's just girlies treating friendship bracelets and taking pictures and just, like, having the best time at the Eras Tour. And it's like, people are like, this is the girlhood that you can't take away.
Yeah. This is the girlhood you can't.
This is ours.
This is the girlhood we're taking back.
Yeah. Like, this is ours.
And I love it for, like, my generation and for older, but, like, also for these younger girlies. Like, we're paving the way. Like, I mean, we've all grown up with our own, you know, experiences, and mine was very anti-feminist, and it's so powerful to be like, oh no, I matter. The things I like matter. Like the experience of I don't know, softness and silliness.
You know, I also love in this pop culture moment that then we get the next generation with Olivia Rodrigo, who we've also all been fucking obsessed with.
We haven't covered this yet on the pod, I don't think.
But, like, I like such a parallel there of, like,
so good.
You know, the way that Olivia even, like, is more vulgar in her songs than Taylor is.
So
like,
good.
not to do a direct, like, Taylor is to Olivia, you know, not like that, but just the art, like, the artistry is very similar. Of, like, I am a teenage girl, I have big feelings, and those are valid, and they're worth saying out loud.
Yeah,
and I belong, and I'm gonna talk about it.
And you know who's gonna buy my fucking
body is gonna be like also talking about it.
We're all gonna sing it. We're all gonna know it. We're gonna play it over everything.
Yeah, I love the continuity of it. Yeah,
we're taking up space, and it's what is it? A rising tide lifts all boats in the harbor. Like, this isn't about just, like, you know, beating down other identities. This is like, no, we're lifting up the vulnerable. Like, this is whatever wave of feminism we're at now. It's just like, no, this is for everyone. This is let's bring some equality to the conversation.
Yeah,
like,
I love it.
I don't know. It's just the Olivia Rodrigo album has been fun.
An incredible album. No skips.
No skips.
It really reminds me of. It's very, like, autobiographical.
Yeah,
it's very, like, honest. And also is not here for, like, I'm not going to be slut-shamed. Like, yeah, it is a bad idea, and I'm going to sleep with this guy.
Yeah,
I know.
so
Like,
I fell into his bed.
Whoops.
Whoopsie.
Yeah. Perfect. I love it.
It's like, I love the, like, playfulness and the silliness, and then, like, the gut-wrenching.
The deep heartbreak.
Yeah, the deep. And it's like, oh, wow, okay, yeah.
It really do be like that.
I can hold logic and emotion at the same time, and it doesn't cloud my judgment.
It doesn't diminish my power.
It doesn't diminish my power.
Yeah.
I don't know. Y'all, it's just
so
really
here
important.
for it.
It's important.
You know, and what a nice thing to, I don't know, not to get all political, but like coming out of like the political worlds that we've been in recently is just like, if you had asked me, I don't know, on like January 7th, a couple of years ago, of like, do you think that you'll be recording a podski with your girlfriends about like this empowered like women moment we're having now? I would be like, no, we're all hiding in our houses because we can't get abortions and we can't just live out in the world anymore.
Right. Yeah.
So I think it's also like healing in that way and very unexpected. Like
that, I mean, you've gotta, you can't make this stuff up. Like, it's just, you can't make history up the way it's unfolding. And we're living it in real time of just like, oh, this is so impactful. Olivia Rodrigo, the Eras Tour, the Summer Barbie movie. Like, you can't make this up, and it is so powerful because of what we've all just been living through.
Yeah. It's
our rights being stripped away.
Yeah. It's not an accident that the summer after we lost Roe versus Wade is the summer of girlhood.
Yes. Oh, we're lighting shit on fire. We're like, oh no, we have a right to exist, whether y'all vote to protect our bodies or not. Like we're gonna be clear.
Yeah.
And what was it? How many voters did she register?
Oh, I don't know the exact number, but it was a lot.
Like 35,000 or something.
It's just like, it is the power of like relating with someone who it's like, I know, a parasocial relationship that we have with Taylor Swift. But then she cares about the same issues that you care about, and especially like
politically engaged woman in the South.
Which is, we've all seen Miss Americana. Like we've seen. Is that where she kind of unpacks her like? No, I'm going to talk about this political issue.
And she did a big push for voting in Tennessee, and she votes in the South, and it's really important. And like, just her putting out something that says, hey, like, you can register to vote. It takes like 10 seconds. So you can go do that right now.
Fill out this link.
Yeah, here's the link.
Go register to vote. Why
someone
don't you?
That is like,
what if you did?
A bunch of young people admire her and they love her and like, oh, Taylor says I should do this. I think that's a good idea.
She's not saying who to vote for. Yeah. She's just saying, hey, why don't you fucking be a participant here?
That's so consistent with all of, like, people who work in politics, like, people in the grassroots, like, get the vote out community. Yeah. That is the language of, like, it does matter who you vote for. Of course it does. But, like, you must vote. Like, vote. That's the point. We're not... do your thing, but like you need to participate
because you know who's voting is all the old white folks. Like, they're voting. Sure as hell, they're voting. So we've got to even this out, and you know who is uniquely equipped to do that? Taylor Swift.
Yes.
to help even this out.
Like, she's selling out 70,000 plus people 3 nights in a row. It's like, if all of those
she's
people
using her powers for good.
Yeah, if you're sitting in a stadium of 70,000 people going to see Taylor Swift, I hope that you are in support of women's rights and LGBTQI plus rights. Like, I hope that that's why you're there and like why you're participating in this. And if you are, like, you should be voting. And because if all of those people put their effort toward voting, then that's a lot.
That's a big deal. Yeah.
And I think that's part of the stepping into the womanhood and the responsibility of it all too. Because she's like, oh no, this is what could I do with this? What could I, you know. She's giving Glinda. She's giving Good Witch. Like, she's like, I'm gonna, like, I've been given these powers. Like, I'm gonna wield them for the healing of our communities. And it's just,
I couldn't be more here for it. Like, I couldn't be more stoked about it.
It's really cool.
I was not expecting, it was not on my 2023 bingo card to become a Swiftie.
It wasn't.
Like, never, even when Midnights came out last year, we wore it out in my house. Like, it just, like, really hit for us. And I guess that was why I started talking to y'all about it, because I was in a Midnights era, and then
you're like, wait,
I
this
just kind of, you like tucked me under your wing
I
and
was like, oh, come along,
invited me to come along, and I wasn't sure about it, but I did. And even when we went to the Eras tour, I can't even tell y'all the grief that I have listening to the Eras tour playlist, because I just wasn't as much of a Swiftie then as I am now, and I'm like, I can't believe that I didn't understand. I just didn't know how much these songs would mean to me. So, like, no regrets, but, like, I just would not have... I wouldn't have pegged it for myself. I would not have been like, I bet by the end of this year...
This is my circle of influence.
Yes, literally. By the end of your 31st year, you will be a deep Swiftie. Like, all right, well...
You'll have your tinfoil hat on.
Fuck it up, yeah. So, importantly, we're going to see the Eras Tour movie on opening night. I think we might need to have a sleepover afterwards to, like, debrief and decompress. Because I'm gonna not be ready for bed. Like, what do you, like, I'm gonna have so many feelings in my body.
It's gonna be different to see it just on the big, like, I'm just trying to imagine myself watching her do the vigilante shit chair dance, but it's gonna be zoomed in on her doing it.
It's gonna be larger than life.
I mean, surely on opening night, the expectation is that it'll get weird. Like, I'm gonna get weird. Like, I'm gonna behave as though we're there at the concert again,
It's gonna be Friday the 13th. It's gonna be, it's gonna be crazy.
Like, that's
celebrating.
And also, we're going to this, like, we're not going to the theater in town. We're going to like the Podunk,
because like, that's the one that was available at time of ticket release.
So funny.
We're not an AMC town. We're a Regal town. We don't have AMC theaters here. There is one in the next town over.
The little dinky next town.
Yeah, minutes sweet.
A little teeny tiny town. About 45 minutes to the west.
Okay.
And they have an AMC theater. And so when she posted the link, I only ever that was the only way to get tickets. And then Regal obviously started releasing dates, but we was like, no, we're gonna go opening night.
Obviously,
we're gonna drive to an AMC theater, I guess.
Yeah.
No
It's not that far from your house.
No, it's not. It's really.
Can we have a sleepover at your house in your bonus room?
That's the trick.
I'm just inviting myself over.
Let's do it.
On a Friday night. Yeah, we'll be there.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So we're gonna be that poor little town. That mall that movie theater is in is not gonna be ready.
No,
they've never seen that amount of sequins. Like that's never.
Yeah. So if we've got T-shirts, we're gonna be dressing up
we're gonna go cozy. I'm not down to look.
I'll take my quarter zip.
Sure. Yeah.
You put your quarter zip on in the theater.
Yeah.
Cutie.
But I don't really feel like wearing like the whole 9, you know?
No, I'm not wearing two.
Well, speaking of friendship bracelets.
Yes! Okay, so
I did
squealed. I was like, wait.
Okay.
They're making friendship bracelets at a little sleepover with a bubble bath.
Yeah, that was precious.
That was so stinking
That fucked me up.
Okay.
That fucked me up.
Okay, well, that was the segue.
That was our segue.
Now here we are. We've arrived.
Look, if
nothing subtle about it.
I'm going to put a timestamp, y'all. That was your Taylor Swift hour. I know that it's been a while since you've had some brand new Taylor Swift news, and you're dying to hear our take on it.
Yeah. You'll never hear about her.
So you need to hear our summaries of our favorite TikToks we've seen about it, as though
this is valuable content.
I know. My favorite thing is like my students who are Swifties and they come into my office and they're like, Miss Katie, have you seen this? I'm like, yes, bitch, I've fucking seen it.
I've seen it. Don't disrespect me by acting like I am not an expert.
Yeah. I'm like, I've done seen it. I've been there. I watched it.
That TikTok you're talking about is from my podcast account.
The one that is the one that I posted. Thanks.
Did you know that I sent that to you actually?
I made that secretly. Okay. Well.
All right, let's jump in. We have some talking points. We all know the drill. For these books are so fucking long. We don't take notes on them.
Gosh.
No, we've just got some talking points. That's literally the name of this share. No, just talking points.
Yeah, talking points. Points to talk about.
Silver Flames. Yeah, I was not prepared for. I mean, I was, but yeah, wow. This was a book.
It's a book.
I would like
there
to
are words
do
on pages.
This is complex, isn't it? This is a complex book.
I liked it a lot, but I know that for myself,
you also liked ACOTAR.
Very susceptible to like a sunk cost.
Yes,
fallacy of like I put so much time into this that I was gonna enjoy it.
Wait, you just put language to how I feel about a lot of things.
Yeah,
I'm like, well, I have to like it because if I say I just invested that much time and energy and money into something, I can't say I don't like it.
Yeah,
but no,
I didn't read thousands of pages of this series to get to the last one and not have a good time.
Because what does that say about me?
Right? What's wrong with me that I can't?
No, I have to say that like no, I loved it.
No, I know.
Yeah, I think, our first talking point, LOL, and thank you, KTB, for doing this for us. I'm going to just read, and I quote the talking point. Everyone raining on Nesta's hot girl Minty B. Listen!
What?
Nesta!
Leave her alone.
Leave her alone. Her the fuck alone.
Leave her alone.
She's doing her thing.
She will wash her sheets when she damn well wants to.
That's right.
Ew. That was that was a lot.
Here's my take on it. Nessa's gonna live for 1,000 fucking years.
Yes!
And she needs to take a little moment.
What's 5 years of a bender? Who cares? Let her do it.
Let's have some perspective. Let's have a little.
Leave her alone.
You're asking her to adjust to being an immortal.
Yeah.
And no.
And her dad. Trauma, grief. Let her have a Minty B.
Let her have it.
I
let her catch some bodies.
Yeah.
Let her get drunk.
Let her live her life.
Yeah.
Let her have 2 males in the bed.
Ooh, sure. 2 males in the bed.
A couple of times, I think.
Yeah.
I know. Get it, Nesta.
I remember a local bookstore owner who we love and have talked to. She was like, she has the hot take that I've heard other folks say too, that maybe a ghostwriter wrote A Court of Silver Flames.
Really?
Her theory was that SJM
it's
gave
so different.
It's like very
basically
different.
gave a basic plot overview and then just had someone else write it
because she's too busy,
right? And I can see that because like some of the character development kind of breaks down, and like there's some stuff that happens at the end where it's like, what the fuck?
Necessarily what happened, but I couldn't get that out of my mind as I read it. Because I thought, like, it just the sheer change in Rhys and Feyre, which we will get to. But just, like, how Feyre and Rhys both, but especially Feyre, kind of approached Nessa's hot girl, Minty B. Like, let Nestle Tollhouse do what she wants. Like, just let her live. I don't know.
I love Nestle Tollhouse.
Nestle Tollhouse.
Just let her
I totally agree. We're fine with Elaine just, like, ghosting around the mansion. That's fine for Coco.
Yeah,
she don't have to talk to nobody.
because she's
we
not
can't even let
sleeping with
her, like,
anyone.
look out a window. But in the, like, yeah, though she's got her process, so it'll be fine. But Nesta's process looks a little different.
And that's okay.
Some of us need to externalize.
Some of us
internalize, and some of us, all three of us in this room.
Yep.
Internalize. We take President accounted for. We are internalizers.
Hello.
Shit
What's
goes
up?
wrong. We take it to heart. And we take ownership, but we process kind of like that.
We stare out the window.
So
We do
do a
stare.
Pride and Prejudice stare in the mirror or out the window.
Yeah.
We do that.
Not in the mirror. That's risky business.
You know, I know.
We don't need that.
Okay, pause.
No.
Pause for the co-star.
Oh my god,
This
you
is
all.
hysterical.
So
you remember?
Yeah,
Say.
you'll know. So CoStar sends me those daily things.
Ew.
You'll get it. So CoStar sent me a notification that was like, staring at one's belly button can be a form of meditation.
No.
Bitch.
No.
One, the neck pain.
Oh my god.
But looking down, but then I was like, in the mirror. No, I'm not doing that either.
Yeah,
No.
like in the mirror, looking down, there's no configuration in which staring at one's belly button is any kind of fucking meditation. And Nesta knows that full well.
That's not going to help.
CoStar was a bitch that day. I just don't know.
Yeah.
That was really entertaining, honestly.
Any other Cancer Sun, Aries Rising girlies, let me know if you got that notification.
Oh my god.
That was wild as hell. Wild as hell. Nesta needed to externalize her shit onto everything and everyone all around her. Let her.
That's a very masculine way to do things.
Exactly.
Thank you. It's
Yes.
because, so my theory, now look, this could be completely off. I'm not an SJM super fan. I'm not against her, but this, I just felt like maybe a man wrote some of it. I don't know. Is that binary of me? Is that gendered of
That's
me?
interesting.
It just seems like, yes, the way that Elaine was processing, like getting really small and frail and broken and staring out the window, like that is how we see women handling things, where you just like make yourself as small as possible and like you don't interact with anybody. But then Nesta is being very loud and she's drinking and she's fucking and she's,
I don't know.
she's shoving it in your face, like
Drinking and fucking and running and mucking. Let her live.
And so and like when women do that, we're like, oh, she's just really
Ooh,
easy.
what's that Miranda Lambert song? Put her makeup on.
Oh yeah. Fix your makeup, gonna hide your crazy. Yeah,
yeah. We're not really allowed to do that.
Yeah,
it's just a breakup.
It's just a breakup. Fix your makeup. Yeah, it's like ooh.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I like that you have this point of like maybe just like let Nesta
Let her
be
have her
crazy as
process.
hell because she would have worked through it. We didn't have to do all that, but we did. We wrote a whole book about them making her work through it.
I mean, I do think there is a line, like in real life and friendships. Like if I had a we will support our girlies in their chaos up to a point. Yes. And when it starts hurting them, then we maybe need to step in and be like, hey.
Harming self or others, that's the line.
So I do think there's a negotiation to have there of like, work it out in a way that is safe ultimately for you. And
sometimes we need others to kind of give that discretion on like, hey, if you are...
Yeah, I think it's good that Nesta was doing whatever she wanted. I think that's what people need to do sometimes to like reclaim some agency. But also, she wasn't like, there was a real nihilistic bent to Nesta's Minty B too. Like she was kind of ready to disappear.
Yeah.
Similar to Elaine, again, like Elaine had that same shit going on, but it was a more like socially acceptable presentation of it.
There was some real darkness.
Do think like there's a time and a place to intervene when someone that you love is hurting themselves.
And I see that they were toying with how to do it well.
I I don't know if they did it well.
No,
and I don't know if the timeline made a lot of sense of like, let her, like, how do you know when it's
and I think
they were like,
Reese and Farrah got on my nerves a lot in this book.
Yes, I think Reese and Farrah were written so differently.
Farrah, who always got on my nerves, she got like 1,000 times worse in this one. That's why I don't like her, because of this book. And then Reese, who normally doesn't annoy me, annoyed the shit out of me in this book.
Reese was
like, what the fuck is your problem?
Yeah.
Like, and that's what the ghostwriter thing, that
makes sense,
Reese,
doesn't it?
the Reese that I know.
Yeah.
Doesn't it make sense? Like, Nesta, the only reason that this doesn't scream Ghostwriter is because we haven't spent much time with Nesta yet.
Right.
So it's like, but if this was a book about Farrah, like, and it was like, this would be a completely different, because these are different characters. These just feel really different.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, and I think it was really... Did you read 3.5? Did you read Frost?
I didn't read the Christmas special.
I thought that was a really important segue. Like, I think if I hadn't read that and we just launched right into the baby stuff with Farrah, I would have been much more pissed about it.
Yeah, but at least felt like out of left field.
Yeah, in Frost and Starlight, there's a little bit of insights into Farrah's kind of like wrestling around, like, well, this is different. I haven't really wanted to have kids, but now... So
things are different now.
I think that was the only reason she even wrote Frost and Starlight, because she was like, well, this is a big fucking switch up that I'm about to pull here.
Yeah.
Like, I need to provide a little and then the holidays, we get all our feels and families. See Farrah and Reese like on this path in Silver Flames only if you're really giving in to some super deep, like, heteronormative, like, patriarchal stories about, like,
I know,
I don't know, I think about my work in like maternal mental health care, and it's all about like the stories we tell, or like you're never going to be so fulfilled as the one, like, you're not, it's really playing into a lot of like hetero patriarchal,
I know,
family values, like nuclear family shit that I think
tough.
is like not consistent for recent, like, in order to buy into how different they are in this book, you have to buy into a lot of other ideas about like, what does parenthood do to, like, you're not yourself anymore, like your whole identity becomes that of a mom or a dad, and like parent. That's not real, like that's not how that actually works.
Die for this, but
if you think it is, then the story kind of makes more, like, it's more palatable.
As I was listening literally this morning to spoilers, the birth, I did think if this is a book for the masses, y'all, we've got some material ahead of us, we gotta go, but we gotta roll. If this is a book for the masses, then like these are commonly held values, right? Of just like, especially, it's a lot of female identified folks reading these. Like, I don't think it was that far off from, like, I have not written a magical work of fiction, but it's like, at some point you've got to not just write the book that like you want to read, like you've got to write like what other people can see themselves in.
Yeah.
And so I just think of a lot of people where it's like, I see why they would love this. They see themselves in the story. They want to be a parent. This is a deeply held value for them.
Sure.
And so, like, while we felt really seen and heard by Farrah at first, of just like, oh yeah, no, not necessarily by Farrah, but like we were like, oh yeah, we align with, like, this is cool. Like, these are some child-free people who are like living their lives. Like, there's a lot of people who are parents. Like, there's a lot of people.
It's true.
I don't know if that I was about to say if that makes sense. But like if that connects. I just read it. I was listening and I'm like, oh well, of course, this is
people
commonly
feel that way.
People feel this way, and they're allowed to. They are like, people are allowed to want to have kids. They're allowed to be in heteronormative relationships. And I just want there to. I just get really excited when I read things and watch things and hear things that center other lived experiences. Yeah. That's my place in life. It's like, I just get really excited when I'm like, oh look, this is a powerful female person living this life.
Yeah, that's a good point. That it's allowed. People are allowed to want to have kids. I guess
the restoration of the species. I guess.
Yeah. I mean. Also, like, with that in mind, like, also
tough.
like maternal mortality rates are terrible. So like birth is really scary and traumatic. And so I did love a popular fiction representation of like people are anxious through their whole pregnancies about dying in childbirth because people be dying in childbirth all the time.
And to really say that here was maybe helpful.
That's pretty powerful.
Okay.
And I like that. And she really was going to die. Like, she and the baby were both going to die.
Yeah.
And so I think that's important to, like, people, like, birth is scary. And it's not, even if they were, like, excited and full of love and joy about it, like, that's not all there is. It's not just this, like, idyllic story about now you're going to be fulfilled and you're going to have so much like, no, it's fucking scary. It's scary to give birth. You're going to literally rip apart your body to produce a new being.
If we presented that more authentically, I think that would be maybe the informed consent that people need before embarking into parenthood, especially if you're the person carrying the child.
So if it's going to be deeply hetero, then at least let it be realistic of like, this isn't just all fun and easy glowy games. Like the shit is.
So you liked that perspective?
Well, I do right now as we're talking about it. That was not present for me while I was reading.
No, I didn't enjoy it at all as I was reading it.
No, it was pretty brutal to read. But
we will have plenty of time at the end of this to circle back to our Farrah having a fucking winged bat baby.
God damn it!
No,
good for them. Good for them. I mean, truly, I don't mean that like. It just sucked. It was tough. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think of our listeners, and I'm like, I understand that people fall all over. Like, I don't know. Some people are biological parents, and some people aren't.
Yeah. Well, I will say, like, I think even like I'm thinking of the way Savannah like framed it last night when she was talking about it. She was like, because she is a parent, she's had 2 babies, and she's got horrible PPD and postpartum anxiety, and like, and when she was reading it like just postpartum, like she had just had her first.
Oh God!
And she stopped reading it because she was like, this is not like. I don't know. I appreciate her perspective because she was like, yeah, no, I've always wanted kids. I have this baby now, and now I'm reading this, and it's making everything feel horrible and awful, and it's making it worse, and I don't want
that was traumatic enough.
Yeah.
It's an interesting. We do so idealize, and so if we're gonna talk about birth and folks. Like, let's make it really realistic. And then, but I loved what Savannah shared and Savannah, I'm sure, is totally fine with us sharing that. She was like, well, I'm just going to skip around. Like, I'm just not going to read those
I'm not going to engage with that.
So that was a beautiful self-awareness of just like, don't love that. I'm not going to partake.
It's like, I'm still...
that's activating, and
I still have stitches in my vagina, so I don't think I'm going to
I don't need to hear about this right now.
Like, we're good. It's traumatic.
Yeah. It is, it's traumatic. Yeah, and
it's not always roses and sunshine. And it's beautiful, and it's traumatic.
Yeah, I liked that dose of realism. I didn't like it, but I found it very like good. Like, if we're gonna be all excited about this, let's talk about
it. Let's also talk about what this really is,
please.
Well, our girl Nesta.
Nesta.
Her next talking point, the 10,000 step challenge.
I liked it. I thought that was a fun little plot device throughout. Like, that was fine. That was fine for me.
Inspiring white girl workouts everywhere.
There you go.
Have y'all seen, oh man, I meant to pull it up. There's a whole like TikTok account where she has made Valkyrie workouts. It's like she has like a membership, like you can do.
That's cool.
They're really, and it's all like female identified folks like doing the Valkyrie like self-defense, like cool stuff. Very, very interesting.
I think we do have to hand it to, like, this is a very trauma informed.
It is. I read
birth trauma notwithstanding,
right?
But like all of the acolytes, all of the librarian ladies, I was like, this is correct.
That's
exactly what this is supposed to look like. This is gonna happen.
Them staying locked inside a house forever.
Yep. Yes, and only leaving if they want to. And only inviting people in if they want. Like, very trauma informed. I thought
that's how it goes.
Was great.
And I loved Cassian. I think he also handles it so well because he was like, hey, look, like, I would love to train them, but I think even being around a male would be triggering for them, and I don't want to do that to them. He's like, so, like, if you wanted to train them, that's fine. I don't want to be someone that makes them uncomfortable. Yeah, I was like, he's so aware, and that, I love that.
Well, and at the very end, it unpacks how was it? I forget which one was telling her story. The younger one. Oh God, I hate that I don't have her name at the tip of my tongue. There's three girlies.
Emery or Gwen?
It was either, I think it was Gwen, who was like, and then Azriel and Cassian came in and rescued me after her twin was killed. It was really like, oh, this was such a compassionate. Yeah, I don't know, these warriors, they knew, like, hey, this is we protect these girls. Yeah.
But dang, if I'm Gwen, I'm immediately falling in love. I don't.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Cassian and Azriel rescue you.
Oh yeah.
That's a real. Your rescue fantasy's coming to life.
See, in the previous episodes, I was hinting at someone that I wanted to be with Azriel. It's Gwen. I want them to be together so bad. She's a smut girlie. Oh, she's goofy.
Smut threaded through all of this. So cute.
Yeah,
I love.
It's like I mean. I'm worried that it's going to be Elaine and Azriel, which I hate. But
do you?
Yes, you think I hate it.
We need to talk about that.
Like Elaine. I think she sucks.
Do you think we just don't know enough about Elaine?
Yeah, I like Elaine fine. I'm curious to read more about her. And I really like Lucian.
I like Lucian too. I want her to be with her mate. Like, I know. You go be with your mate. Leave Azriel alone.
So Azriel was feeling something towards someone at some point.
Well, he's been in love with Moore forever.
Well, yeah, but then they're kind of more distanced now.
I was very happy to release the Moore, Cassian, Azriel love triangle, like, especially because it got to be a little queer plot line. Yeah, I was very happy to, like, okay, no, actually, people can just be friends, even if they fucked one time 600 years ago.
Dear God, actually, 600 years ago.
Like, you know, we're allowed to just have friends and intimate closeness with people and it not be like a sexual thing.
It doesn't always have to be a thing.
I felt fine about that.
Yeah, I think we need those are good storylines. Yeah. I like that. We like them to do their thing.
I like Azriel and Elaine. I'm interested. I got another girlfriend into this and she like blasted through the series so fucking fast. Wow. So she's been texting me about it.
Very good.
And we were talking about shout out to my friend. She's been listening to the podcast.
An angel.
Yeah. One of my redheaded angels in my life.
Babies.
One of my redheaded babies.
Beautiful.
I love them.
Anyway,
so many redheads.
She really
something strange.
She really does not like the soulmates bit. She doesn't like the bit. She's like, I think that's just like it's just a plot device that she doesn't love.
Yeah, fair.
And so we have been talking about how I think that there's room in the SJM universe because she does take tropes and turn them on their heads sometimes. Yeah. I'm very interested in a plot of like someone getting out of their mating bond or like of choosing to reject the mating bond. So I'm invested in that.
Reese made it clear at some point that like the mating bond is not canon. Like it's not. Yeah. It's kind of a fluke.
It's like a biological response.
We got to see Cassian and Nesta like cultivate and establish their mating bond. Like it didn't come pre-programmed for them in the same way that it. So I'm really interested in like, can there be a known mating bond and then we just decide to say like no thanks actually.
That would be interesting.
And poor Lucian.
I know.
But the thing is, the only other thing that could happen with him is that he just fucking dies. Like it's either he.
Well, Jay was saying that today.
I know the boyos were just saying that he's giving like sidekick destined for death, which I think is true.
Well, we haven't really lost any main characters that haven't come back from the dead. So, yeah, I know. Yeah. It's truly knock on something.
I know.
Well, the next point is Cassian and Nesta's bargain.
You always got to have a bargain in some of these in this book.
There's never amount of fairy bargains.
All the bargains. It was also a spicy bargain because that tattoo slithered right down her spine. I was like, oh god.
So this bargain, it got like started at the beginning of the book. It was trained for one day, right?
Yeah, give me a day of training and I'll give you a favor of your choosing.
That was when she was still being a little twat.
You have to hold your mic.
That was when she was still being a little twatter about like I'm not doing anything. I'm not participating.
Her rock sitting.
I
can relate.
I love Nesta.
On this rock.
I think people well, I don't, probably not anymore, but people used to be like, what the fuck's wrong with Nesta? And like, I always
Nesta's a girly
loved
like
her.
me.
And I was like, because
Rebellion.
she's like,
no.
I don't want to.
So good.
Don't want to. Leave me alone.
Yeah, no, her chutzpah, her like the desperate good girl is just, I mean, I can relate to that too, but I just, parts of me, the Gemini, but like I have other polar opposite parts who are just like, fuck this, no, I'm not doing it.
Well, Anna just doesn't want to be told what to do ever.
No, I actually physically can't be told what to do. I've reached my quota. I had about 23 straight years of it, and I'm good for the rest of my life, actually.
No thanks.
So,
and I think
sorry to everyone
like,
all
the
around
people
me.
pleaser in me loves to see someone who does not give a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. Can you imagine?
I saw
it speaks to the fire. It's like, oh, I can do that.
I can say I just don't want to fucking do that.
Yeah, you can.
I think it's also a bit of an avoidant attachment style.
Yeah,
that's pretty loud there.
Well, it's just like, no. And she knows he's her mate. Like, she knows that, like, she knows what went down at the battle. She knows.
That is like such Anna energy where it's like, I know you're my mate, but I'm not. I mean, I'll figure it out on my own. I'll come back around.
I feel perceived.
I'll come back around to this when I want to.
Yeah. Well, it was incredibly too vulnerable for her. Like, she thought she was going to die at the end of the last one, and that is the only reason that she, like,
was honest.
Put her shit on the line like that
like,
with Cassian, because they were both going to die.
It is
and then she
scary.
was like, oh, God, the vulnerability hangover was loud.
It lasted for several months.
Years.
Like, I'm just like, I said one tender thing towards you, and now we're mortal enemies.
Can't tolerate that at all.
That's really the avoidant attachment of it all. It's so entertaining. But she said it just to divert attention away from me being perceived. She said it at the beginning. They did the bargain. We got a Meow Meow joining. She said it at the beginning, and then she cashed in on it at the very end with the bargain when she was like, "No, I need some space. Don't talk to me.
Speak to me." Oh my God!
This is the one thing I need. Is leave me the
Holy
fuck alone.
shit.
I want you to never talk to me. I will be talking to you.
Yeah.
Like calls to like.
I'm not mad about that.
I like it.
Yeah.
She's like, I need some space. All right.
I'll talk to you.
Yeah.
You may come when I call.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it. We respect. All right, the next point is Nesta's sneaky little tricks to protect Gwen from Meryl. That was, went behind, this was the shelving of the books.
Yes.
Yeah.
Meryl's kind of a bitch. I don't know what her problem is.
Did seem like an asshole.
Why did Meryl have to be so...
I just like, because you're working in a library with a bunch of traumatized women, why you gotta be mean to them?
Don't be mean.
Like, people have been mean to them forever.
Yeah, don't be
Can we
mean.
just be...
Like, you're
Just be
here
civil.
too. Ostensibly, you have had some experience.
Well, maybe that's a trauma response.
Yeah, well, all right.
Yeah. I'm thinking of like so many people I know.
Yeah.
Who are- It's like, well, is it an excuse? No, but it's a reason.
Yeah.
It's a reason why you're that way.
Okay,
She was like, oh, my friend... I just love that she... Like, Gwen... They weren't quite friends at this point. I think Gwen had protected her from the scary darkness or whatever.
Yeah.
I was expecting the Barry Access to come out at any moment from the scary
I
fucking
don't
darkness.
think he lives there
I think
anymore.
He's gone.
Yeah.
He just wanted a window.
He RUN an OFT.
Yeah.
He flew the coop during the battles.
He's like, peace. I ain't going
y'all
back.
couldn't even give me my skylight.
Yeah.
I am
Fuck
out
all
of here.
y'all. Yeah,
I
he's
gave
gonna
you
go
my
wreak
interior
havoc in
design
another
plans,
way.
and you didn't follow through, so I'm not coming back.
I
Y'all
still
had
just,
one
like,
job.
Yeah.
get sad thinking about Brie Axis sometimes.
I know.
It's just like,
I know.
all that they wanted was just
Yeah,
a little
just-
light to look out of the.
Sometimes
just
monsters aren't
heartbreaking.
actually
I know.
monsters. Yeah, I think Nestie's little Nestie's.
Nestle Tool House.
Nestle Tool House. My grandmother's cookies. I just enjoy the kind of the sub. Maybe I can put this into words. Nesta is like this hard bitch, right? Just like intent, like battle worn, like has been through some shit, avoidant, all this stuff, like on the surface.
Yeah.
The through line that was not so subtle through this whole book was actually she loves very deeply, and she does a good protect, and she she actually would die for the people she really cares about.
Yeah.
And that's really this beautiful like through line of like, and that's maybe one of the first times that we see it with protecting Gwen. Just like, no, I got you. I got you, girly.
The obviously the not so subtle, like
it's not subtle at all, but
like vulnerability is strength and like softness is strength, and that's where in times where Nesta is like opening herself up and being vulnerable, that's when like she wins the whole thing at the end, and like all this good stuff happens, and obviously that's the whole fucking point.
Like we get it, we took
but English.
But it's still beautiful.
Part of this is like I feel like it's reflective of there's like, you know, there's sometimes girls who are like, I don't like hanging out with girls. I'm not a girl's girl. I just like to hang out with boys. And I feel like
they're too much drama. Boys are just so...
Exactly. And I think Nesta was kind of feeling that way. But then she develops these beautiful female friendships where they end up making fucking friendship bracelets. And it's like, it's cool to be a girl's girl. Like it...
Actually, at the turntables...
is really great.
It's actually the best.
It's I can speak for my own experience. I had a lot of internalized misogyny and internalized patriarchal values around like women are only here to be enemies, and like this is
competitive.
Like I can't actually get close to other women, and that's just not. There's. It's internalized misogyny.
Yeah.
It's this internalized idea that like, oh no, this softness is not. I don't know. I hate to make universal statements, so I'll just speak for myself that it's been really healing to I don't know, just like show up as a woman with other women. I don't know.
I think that's a Swiftie era insight too. Like I haven't really had girlfriends like y'all, like the way that we're like girlfriends, like really in life ever, for similar reasons, for like internalized bullshit reasons, and like actually, well, like watch out, you might not want to talk to men anymore once you get some girly
once you
actually you really are like connected with,
especially
like wait,
when you develop
women are
intimate
amazing
relationships with your friends, where like our friendship is pretty intimate, like we're very close. And there's just no way that like a relationship with, especially like with a straight dude, that could ever be.
It's just not.
It's not gonna happen that way.
I don't want to hang out with straight men anymore.
I don't want to. I don't want
as
to.
The turntables.
Want to, and then I don't have to.
Yeah.
As Nesta teaches me, I'll just sit quietly on this rock over here and glower at everybody.
Right.
Like, that's my gender identity.
My gender identity is glowering at a rock.
Glowering at the white men.
Glowering at the white men. It's so entertaining. So entertaining. Yeah, I did one day. I'm sure they'll make this into a movie, and I'm excited for the training sequences. Like that's going to be interesting to see the muscles.
It's gonna be fun to see.
I was only picturing. I casted Emery as what's her name? Also a Valkyrie from
her name is Valkyrie.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And so I was like, this is easy. Yeah. I already know who's gonna play her. No problem.
Queer vibes all over the place with
Valkyrie. You know who I'm talking about. What's that actress's name?
I don't know her name. I just know her character's name is Valkyrie.
Yeah.
Cute.
She's besties with Thor.
Yeah. That was who I was picturing for Emery.
I see that.
Oh, cool.
I love Emery.
I want to spend some time in that library with all of them.
The library sounds magic.
Yeah, that sounds...
And there's smut in there.
There's so much fucking smut. We'll get to the house, too.
Oh, yeah.
So cute.
The house.
Okay, we'll get to it. I love it. Okay, the three brothers who won the blood right. Okay, wait. Refresh my memory. What happened here?
So, I just wanted to put this in here because we learned the story of Cassian, Azriel, and Reese, who, like, the three of them won it together.
Oh, that's the three brothers.
It was very, like...
babies.
It was giving Harry Potter, and like Cedric and Harry grabbing the cup together, and then like the tale of the three brothers and the death, and like that's kind of what I was feeling when I was reading that part.
I loved it.
Yeah, I didn't make that connection.
Yeah, but the brothers, they separated the brothers, but then they found each other.
I love that. And also, this is again from my conversation with one of my redheads. I'm gonna have to like send her clippies from this, but like she was like, I think it's a little heavy-handed to have the three brothers all mate with three sisters. And I was like, okay, that's a good point, actually. That's a little too much. That's a little too. It's a bit much.
It is like their like mates are very rare and special, but it happens all the fucking time.
All the time.
Like,
it only happens to these characters.
Yeah.
Like they only experience mating relationships.
Like a once in a million chance of mating, and it's
wrong holes. Those are wrong holes.
Well,
but that,
you're right.
That is a hole.
It's a hole, and it's the wrong one.
Hole.
It's a hole that you did find. You're correct.
Okay. All right.
The next point is Elaine is judgmental and kind of dumb.
I'm sorry.
Katie Bird, it made this
I just.
This is not a talking point. This is a statement.
I have something to say.
Say it, baby. Say it.
It's just
say it out loud.
Kind of dumb.
The way Elaine came into the house.
You're gonna eat these words at some point.
Maybe.
I am Elaine.
Elaine. No, you are not. Elaine, you would never do this. Elaine came into the house.
I would never
bothered Nesta while she's just. Nesta's living her life. She's in peace. She's just trying to fight and chill with Cassian, and she comes in and she's like, you were just doing all that bad stuff, and it was really bad. And then Nesta, rightly so, was like, so it was fine for you when you were starving yourself to death, but when I wanted to do it like this, you think that's wrong, and you want all your fucking friends. Yeah, I did not like that. She was judgmental and rude.
I gotta tell you though,
they didn't understand her grief. They didn't understand.
At the end though, when they're like, it was heartbreaking to hear Nesta have such grief about her relationship with Elaine.
Yes,
and also the competition of like, well, it was always competitive between Nesta and Feyre, and then for Feyre to be like, oh well, she's chosen her new family, and it's always been me and Elaine, but now even Elaine has like chosen Feyre and her like whatever. It was really,
Nesta's actually
that was
at the turntable.
I would be super sensitive about that. I would be devastated.
Like this is my person. Well, and Nesta deeply loves these people. Like she loves her family.
Yeah,
like always.
I thought that tension was super real, and then at the end, when things come to a head between Nesta and Elaine, and Nesta like bitches her out, and Elaine just like laughs in her face, and then the tension is broken. I was like, I think that's actually how that would happen. Maybe
this is
like a year and a half of tension, and then she just like laughed at her.
Yeah,
and I was like, nature is healing. Elaine is able to laugh in Nesta's face, and Nesta accepted that, and they just rolled right on. And I was like, I think this is gonna be fine.
That does feel very like I'm trying to think of like when my brothers and I would get in these like horrible screaming matches like growing up, and then like someone says something stupid and then you just start laughing and everything's fine after that. It's
like, what are you gonna do? That's your sibling. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
like
you're stuck.
I'm not gonna.
The rupture repair is just always rupture and always repair.
Yeah.
Like you just I don't know. It's siblings. Yeah. The next point is 300 pages in, a kiss that escalates. Nesta burns Cassian. LMAO.
Which one was that?
Was
that the first?
Quick draw McGraw.
Quick on the draw. Got him.
Burn.
That was so funny.
So this was like, okay, we're gonna make out, and then I'm gonna make you come, and then like, oh, that lasted.
LOL. And then I'm gonna talk some shit to you about it.
And like, she was doing it on purpose.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
The shame. Oh my god, that was hard on Cassian.
It was hard on Cassian. Sure, he's fine. He's 500 years old.
That's true.
He has like such masculinity that like that was fine. That was healthy for his ego.
Down a few pennies.
You know what? Actually,
you need to just calm it right on down there, sir. Come on.
That was hysterical, though.
Be fucking for real.
I loved the build-up. I enjoyed the build-up of, like, I'm going to be thinking about that tonight. Like, that was fun.
Yeah. I did not enjoy the 300 pages of build-up, but...
Okay, well...
I always, like, one of my favorites was early on when Feyre and Rhys were, like, writing their little spicy notes back. Like, I love the little spicy commentary back and forth. I know. I'm going
looking wistfully back.
I'm going back there.
Yeah.
That's where I belong.
Yeah, I belong right in there.
Right in there.
No shade to our Silver Flames.
Sexting the High Lord is where I
Please.
belong.
Sexting at the High Lord. Yeah.
Perfect.
I think the Nesta's a horny girly.
She is a horny girly.
That's fun.
Good for her.
She is. And she is the one who kind of initiates most of the encounters, which I like. I think that's fun.
Good for her.
It was painful to watch them do like anti-vulnerability chicken. Like both of them in both of their perspectives were like, well, he didn't stay. He left immediately. And he's like, well, she didn't ask me to stay.
Yes.
That was hard to like, baby, don't be dumb.
It was
stop being so
stop it.
It was entertaining.
Cuddle up. Just have a cuddle.
Yeah.
Aftercare is an important part of a sexual encounter.
I know.
But Nesta's not about to do that.
But she's the one who wanted it.
But she needs...
Her inner monologue was like after he left, after they had sex.
That's the push
she
and
was
pull
like,
of it all.
I thought he would stay, but he didn't. And like, at least for, I think the words were like, at least for like a cuddle. Like,
yeah.
Oh,
it's like,
it made me sad.
Well, poor Cassian too. Like, it's confusing for both of them. They had a lot to work out.
I think Cassian
that was complicated.
I have been doing some work in my own relationship.
Have you?
About you know, in couples counseling, there's the like you do like containment versus integration.
Yeah.
Do y'all know this paradigm? And when it happens, it just is the idea that in all of our relationships, but especially our like intimate partnerships, we're always dancing around like, am I containing my shit to make space for the other person? Are we in a place where I can like integrate my shit and like talk?
Is there space here for me to integrate all my shit and work through it?
So that's really helpful. It's very helpful for me, a person who tries, like, I just want to like vomit whatever my experience is onto my partner in the moment that I'm having it.
Okay,
because
I'm
like,
only
I need
containment. I have no needs. Like, I'm gonna keep these to Jay has recently been calling me out about that, of just like, he's
it's
like,
tough.
sometimes you've had like a really horrible egregious day and then like you won't tell me about it for 2 or 3 days. And I was like, oh well,
because you're
one, I don't
containing.
appreciate that, but 2, you want me to tell you? I guess I will.
I think it's a pendulum that swings on our own experience. But one thing I really appreciated about Cassian was his ability to contain his shit.
Yeah.
When he knew that Nesta did not have space to integrate. She did not have space to hear his perspective.
Well,
and he was like, you know what?
In the thick of it.
I'm going to hang on to this for myself. And I trust her. And I trust her process. And I believe that eventually we'll like get to a place together to be about it.
He didn't pressure her.
And I think that's like, you know, it's hard to be a partner of someone who's having a trauma. Like who's having a trauma time.
A little trauma time.
A hot girl minty bee.
A little hot girl minty
bee. And I think he did a great job of like, he's there.
You're here in the house of wind against your will.
Yeah.
Let's maybe not make this harder.
Yeah, this sucks.
Let's not make this more complex.
Yeah. And I think that's a really hard thing to do. And so I really appreciated that Cassian like brought that onto the scene of like, he was hurt about it.
I think about
like the Christmas present that he like,
oh my
you know,
God.
we finally get to learn in the end of the book. It was this like really sweet gift that he had like scoured for her. Yeah. And then he just like threw it into the ocean it's just gone now. But like, he didn't weaponize that against her. No. He didn't use it to make her feel bad. He just like held on to that and sat with it and made space for her. That's really cool.
That is beautiful.
Cassian,
like that.
He's good people.
It's as if he's had 500 years to mature.
There were, speaking of the right holes, there were several comments with the girlies of when Nesta was like, well, he's had 5, I hope he knows what to do with it. Like, Jesus Christ.
He's 500 fucking years old.
Yeah. But then she was like, although I know from experience that doesn't help everybody.
That don't mean nothing.
It was cute to have the girlies all talking about Azrael and Cassian. That was precious. Oh my God. Okay, next point is the dread trove. I don't remember this.
It's fine.
These are only the wrong holes.
It's the crown.
This is plot.
It's the harp.
Okay, this is the Max Crown harp.
Yeah.
I don't care.
This started feeling like a board game at some point. Like trying to collect
all the pieces.
And I'm so sorry to the girlies who like this is their book. But can we all agree that was a little silly? That was a little silly to be collecting the things.
This seemed like a plot device.
This is fantasy.
She threw in there.
Yeah.
That she needed something to move the plot along, and so she was like, I guess these things exist now.
Someone gave her feedback that was like, we need more plot. There's not enough. And she was like, well, I guess I'll make up this
weird
thing. But then also somehow Nesta's going to forge 3 new made objects. Never been done in history. I was like, all right, this feels extraneous. Like, this is not what we're here for. Yeah. And then there would just be these like...
We're here for these relationships. I'm interested in these people.
And I cannot tell you how the Dread trope even gets resolved. I don't remember. I know that she uses the harp to find Cassian. She uses the
She ends up using them all at the end, and that's how she saves Farrah and the baby.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That's right.
And then she, like, gives them up. It's giving the ring. It just...
I know, it's screaming one ring to rule them all.
I just can't care. And there was, and she like found.
I care deeply about
the harp in the water that was like the exact same scene as Pharaoh with the
wraiths, the water wraiths.
With the wraiths, yeah. And I was like, we've been here before.
This was also in Lord of the Rings. That one of them when they're in the swamp with all the dead people. That's the same plot point.
Yes, God, that's so fucking scary.
Yeah,
it's scary. In the description of Nesta, that water monster that would only like breathe, that was a lot. I didn't like that. I needed a content warning for me. Wife. Like that was
this book needed a lot of content warnings. Because there's some like straight up description of like sexual assault. Yeah. With Thomas.
Like gang raping, too. Like, at the end. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yes. Like,
like, this is, I can see this right now.
Like, when Nesta has flashbacks to that asshole that she was. Thomas, yeah. It's like, all these, like, just pages of, I'm like, I don't want to read about
it. This is a lot. And I was curious about it the whole time. But I don't,
Again, Ghost Rider question mark, because it's like, this is not been revealed this whole time, but now we're hearing about it.
I mean,
what has changed?
I would have liked it more if, like, they'd introduced this situation where Nesta was sexually assaulted, and then, like, Cassian maybe fucked him up a little bit. Like, that's that's what I love that.
Here for that.
Like,
who hurt you? Give me.
But then there's some resolution. Like, I think just, like, dropping the trauma and then, like, oh, we're moving on with the plot.
We didn't really talk about, maybe in the first book there was some talk from Feyre about but that was kind of that was a bit of a non sequitur. I didn't think we had a lot of prerequisite of
Ghost Rider.
Yeah. Is that correct though? Like, it's been over a long time that I've read these books.
I don't know.
Chime in if y'all know.
Wrong holes.
Someone.
Our KikiKindlespot@gmail.com.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's the wrong holes. That's why we don't.
We can't know. But you know what? Feyre is pregnant. Congrats. But also, oh no. That's the talking point. Feyre is in fact pregnant. 10-month pregnancy. No, thank you. But I, even having not read the Christmas special, I was like, okay, they seem happy about this. Good for them.
I also knew immediately. I was like, obviously
because she has the protection.
Yeah, same. I was like, obviously.
Well,
I'm not stupid.
What I thought was that, like, there was something that I missed in the last book of where, like, because it was giving Tamlin overprotecting Feyre initially. I was like, well, maybe there's, like, some threat to her life that we don't know about, and Rhys's entire personality has changed and now wants to protect Feyre.
I think that was the benefit of 3.5. That it just gave you, like, oh, okay, I definitely know what this is.
Clearly.
It was a very heavy-handed, like, lead up to, like, we're just gonna...
Okay, it was really clear.
Lay these very aggressive breadcrumbs out to make you understand that Feyre has changed her whole mind about everything
She's
in her
excited
life.
to have a baby. And, you know, more power to them.
Sure.
More power to those who want to have the bat babies that can't be pushed out of their nether regions.
True.
Also,
good for them, I guess.
Good for them.
I found it very weird of the description of, like, when Rhys lifts the shield and it's like her scent filled everyone's nose.
Okay, the scent. And the scent
Cassian talked about Feyre's lovely scent a few times, and I was like I don't.
It was giving. It's giving Edward.
It's creepy.
It's giving Edward Cullen.
Oh yeah.
I don't like that.
You know what? Maybe humans. Maybe we don't go around sniffing each other enough. I don't know. Maybe we're missing something, folks.
The idea, because it just, especially like where it's like her scent filled the room, and it's like it smells like Feyre, but there's also something sweeter. And it's like when people tell you when you're pregnant, like you're glowing, you're beautiful, your hair is so shiny. It's like but I feel like fucking shit.
I hate it.
Yeah,
I hate this.
Some people feel great during their pregnancies. Good
Do
for them.
they?
Allegedly. I mean, you know, I hear about it. Maybe. Do you think they're lying?
Sometimes I wonder about that, and also like I don't feel good. Not pregnant, you know, just in general. So, like, adding an extra, like, human being.
Well, endometriosis, isn't it the only treatment at present for endometriosis? Like, actual pregnancy makes endometriosis pain stop. Like, that's the only thing that makes
But it's hard to get pregnant when you have endometriosis because of the scar tissue.
Exactly.
It don't make no sense. I have been pregnant before, and the only fucking thing that happened was that I was deeply hungry. You felt the whole time. Like, I was just like, oh my God, I need to add
I think I'm starving.
A hamburger to every meal that I have.
I don't need pregnancy to feel that way.
Hamburger with everything, and that was it.
Cheeseburger backpack.
Cheeseburger backpack. That was it.
Right there and
that was it, baby. No, thank you.
Yeah,
no.
As the turntables,
But
I'm
also,
just here and want that.
I really loved in the last book that they gave us the nitty gritty on how much worse periods were for the immortal people.
It's like every 6 months.
I think it's terrible.
Once a year. Once or twice a year. But also,
so they're only ovulating.
If your cycles are that much worse, your pregnancy's also going to be way fucking worse. No.
Interesting.
No.
The experience of being immortal.
No, I'm not going to talk about it being. I don't know. This is occupational hazard territory, but I'm just not here for sugarcoating pregnancy.
Okay.
Period.
Good.
And I just am why? Farrah's
so
just quietly sitting. She's the most passive that she's ever been.
Hated it.
And it's that's not what happened.
She was a different person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She was a completely different person.
I feel often people have a rush in pregnancy of agency of I need to take charge of my life because now it's not just my life. I'm responsible for this whole other person. I don't know.
That's fascinating.
It read very. I hated it. She just became
a parent.
It was not.
She is.
Okay. Well, we don't think SJM wrote this.
So. She was talking. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I was just saying, all of the buildup of her becoming High Lady and stepping into her power, where the fuck did that go?
It's gone.
I just...
because babies are the most important
Can I play devil's advocate? So, because I'm a Gemini, I gotta play the other side. And I'm also hearing our listeners saying the other side of this too, because it's
yeah, good.
Is this maybe part of being, if we're going to talk about the heteronormative, is this part of being the High Lady that we think of Kate Middleton, which whatever you think about English royal family, but this is kind of part of it since the dawn of time. The female of the royals bears the children to continue the line. This is kind of it's hard to have royals without the idea that this line is passing down.
I see what you mean.
I just don't. And I would have appreciated it if they would have stayed, child free. That's cool. But who would the bloodline have passed to?
But it says in the book that it doesn't even always pick the child.
It's
basic. The magic chooses whoever.
Yeah, it's not.
But if they never die, then why do we need an heir?
I don't think we do. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't think they have the same kind of heir to the throne system.
If they didn't produce an heir, the magic would just choose someone.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's
not talked about that. Yeah, and I feel fine about even if that were her role, that would be cool. She just hadn't been stoked about it beforehand.
So y'all's take that I'm not saying I disagree with, but y'all's take is that she was so vocal at first about this is not my path, but then she all of a sudden is actually I would love to break my body and potentially die to bear a child,
and I'm gonna lose my entire personality leading up to it.
Right. I'm not gonna be the badass High Lady anymore. I'm gonna be this weird little protected
little bubble.
I'm fascinated by just the whole concept because I don't think that they have to be mutually exclusive. That's my edge that I come up against all the time of just why does it have to be one or the other?
Well, anytime we see a paradox, we know to something's happening here.
Yeah, it just is. It bothers me so deeply that and these are questions I've asked since I was a little girl. I've just seen women Gemini. And I always it's Gemini. It's the Gemini of it all. But I remember deeply admiring women who did not have children and thinking wow, they seem so happy and they can just meet their needs and they can just. But I also was interested in the moms and I don't know. It's just fascinating to me why can't you be a person and have a baby?
I think
why can't you be?
Yeah,
and I think you can.
Right. I think you can be, but I don't think that Feyre got to be.
Yes,
I think she became a flat 2-dimensional character when she got pregnant.
Why was she walking Nixon or whatever the fuck his name is? Why was she walking him through the city?
Yeah.
Like, why wasn't she like at court somewhere?
Fair.
I don't know. I think parenthood is fascinating, and
yeah,
I want people to do it well.
Well, that's
and I don't want women to lose their whole fucking identity.
Right. That's my issue with this. That I think.
So y'all's issue is that Feyre did it poorly.
Well, I don't think it's not Feyre's fault. It's whoever wrote the book. It's like you gave Feyre this like
choose this.
Right. Yeah, this huge like arching character development where she went from being like passive and protected to like stepping into her power, becoming High Lady and being super strong,
facing her demons,
and then all of that gets stripped away the moment that she becomes pregnant, and it's like that's not true.
Yeah,
like you can still be all of those things and have a baby and be a mom, like that. Those two things can coexist.
I love this because this was a great opportunity to portray that beautifully to the hundreds of thousands of people who are reading these books. What a powerful opportunity to illustrate to primarily female identified folks who are reading these, from what I'm seeing. Like, what a great way to say, like, hey, this is how you can step into your power and exist in this world in a balanced, healthy way, that you have autonomy and agency, and you're responsible for a child's well-being, because like that's healthy modeling of.
But instead of that, we put her in an impenetrable bubble and did not let her talk to anybody.
Right.
Interesting. But yeah, wow. I think that is the Gemini. That's, or just, I don't know, whatever my life is. That is the lens I bring to things of just like, why can't we do both?
I think we could have done both. Okay. I agree with you that there was an opportunity there. That if it had been written differently, I would have been all for. But
it's like, not that she had the baby that we have beef with, and that's not what y'all are saying. But that's not the problem. Like, the problem is that this is portrayed with her. She's turning into a damsel in distress.
Like the Feyre that I know from these books,
she
Kmart
people
Katniss would have never allowed. And like what we love about her dynamic with Rhys is that not only does she doesn't
need to protect her,
and he never does. Like he has always let her make her choices. And I feel like
it was giving Tamlin all of a sudden.
Yes, the vibe of this was like, well, Rhys.
Rhys, silly Rhys.
That's not at all Rhys.
No, that's
not the Rhys
to protect your own fucking self.
Yeah.
Okay.
He would have empowered her. He would have always given her the tools.
He would have told her to make the shield yourself. Make it yourself.
Let's practice together.
Yeah.
Or take some extra shit with Cassian and she just has always had more agency than she had in this last book.
I agree.
I mean, it bothered me too, and I couldn't quite put my finger on why. Probably because I was listening at 3 times speed.
Jesus,
but that's a personal problem. But it's like I can't quite articulate why I hate this.
Yeah,
well, I hate this dynamic, and it's like because her power, she was shackled to this parenting thing and like stripped for power, and her life was threatened, and then Nesta's life was threatened about it all. Yeah, but
it just felt disjointed from the rest of her character arc to me,
and she's the whole point of all of these other books.
She's the whole point. This person who was able to not go crazy looking at herself in the mirror and had all these sheer powerful self-awareness and awakenings to her own inner resources, to her capital S self.
Yeah,
and then she's just gonna quietly diminish. No,
I don't think it has to be that way. Yeah. And I mean, maybe a little self-disclosure, but that's what I saw, and I've had to growing up, that's the kind of mother, and so it's I think it's really important that especially daughters and women see that across the gender spectrum, that we see hey, this is what it looks like to be powerful and influential and not have your whole identity be a parent.
Yes. You actually do still retain your own identity when you are a parent.
Correct.
I have so many.
It's actually important to the development of the child that you fucking do.
This is what I talk about.
Self-sacrificial, and that you don't die, that you don't lose yourself.
Or you don't become codependent, and then you put that on your kids.
Right. 100%.
Because we need you to be fully yourself.
Yeah. You got to be.
Okay, very interesting. Very interesting. These are bigger questions of life, bigger things that I'm mulling over. But you know what we have at the next point, and I love this. I love all of these discussions. But Cassian settles a debt.
my favorite scene in the book, if you ask me.
Shall we discuss? Shall we unpack the debt that is how he settles this?
Oof!
It doesn't involve his tongue.
I mean, how do we like our men?
On their knees. It's the only way.
He said he was going to settle the debt, and he sure did. For
He sure as hell.
a solid, like, it's probably a 20-minute section of the audiobook.
Very important actually. I just think, that's a debt that's got to be settled. He had 500 years to perfect his craft. I think that Nesta was happy.
The spice in this book is better than the other books. Better as in, like, there's more of it.
Oh, there's a lot
The
of
quantity is more. I have to share with y'all that,
by all means.
man,
It is straight as hell.
it's so, oh my God. I was so ready
Tell
for
me
the
everything.
quantity of smut, and then
You were like, this is the most heteronormative.
in particular,
How big his dick is.
during the like throat fucking section, I was like, I don't know if I have any hetero in here. I don't know if there is any. I was like,
I've actually never been attracted to a man.
She got
no. I just didn't. And, and I'm going to wax poetic about this a little bit.
by
This
all
really
means.
stood out for me because I have never been interested.
The one place you asked poetic, please.
Please.
About giving head.
About giving head. Fine.
Sure.
I have never really understood. What I'm trying to say is, I think that this was a really like written from the feet. Like Nesta was into it.
Oh,
like,
she sure was. Yeah.
And so I really appreciated the female perspective of like why that was good for her.
Okay.
But then I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
I need to do some reflecting. I think because I just was like, I've never understood the appeal from.
Of going down on a dick, having a penis in one's
I
mouth.
get it. Like no, particularly of
I
having
don't
one's
think you-
mouth fucked.
Okay.
Like in particular, that has
Like,
always
you're not in control of the
that's
situation.
always read very
Yeah.
violent to me.
Oh.
Like I've never understood the appeal of being on the receiving end of that, and I certainly think that like in porn and things, like it looks fucking violent.
Yeah.
And so I was very open to like, okay, why is Nesta like what's she? 'Cause she was
Curious.
clearly enjoying it, and so I was very open to like, okay, I'm gonna get the other side of this and not have like shitty violent like
Sure.
hetero patriarchal porn. But then, and even just reading it from Nessa's perspective, I was like, oh,
Not the vibe.
So no, and so I'm like, maybe there is no hetero. Maybe there's none of that.
It done
I don't
walked
know.
out.
I don't know, but it was
It evaporated.
confrontational for me in this book, and also because I got other life things going on right now.
Sure.
That I was just like,
Interesting.
I don't like it was spicy.
Sure.
And it's not even that I don't like respond to the spice, but I just was like,
I don't want to be doing that right now. Yeah.
no, hard no.
I think it's really hot. I'm constantly in the reading of the smut.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is objectively hot. And I think I have to enjoy many things in smut just through the lens of like, this is hot for them.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
I'm around, and that's what you're saying too. Like,
Yeah.
you're like, this is hot. Like, this is cool.
It's
Great.
not-
I'm so
fine to
glad
read
that
it.
they're happy.
Yeah, great.
But like, oh my God, I don't want to do that. There are a lot of things that I'm like, I don't know if that's what I want to do right now, but I'm turned on that they're turned on.
Yeah.
There's a beautiful, like, vicarious
Totally
arousal
I think that you
with
have
smut.
to cultivate some of that to enjoy smut. We talked about this when my partner was reading something when we were on vacay, and it was
what
like
happened one summer.
Yeah, it was his like first smut, and he was like, "Ew, I hated that he said like these words."
Yeah,
So
and
like,
then
is that sweet little thing wet for me or something?
And then he was like, "Did
Hated
people
that.
actually say that?" And we're like, "Oh, V, you are missing the
all
point
the time, babe.
But
like,
you got to
you
come
can't
at
get
it from a
stuck
different."
on- He was like, "Well, I would never say that to you," and it's like, "Oh, okay."
So-
like, what do you mean? Like, that's fine.
okay.
Please don't.
Sure. I don't
Actually,
have
as
to.
the receiver
But, like-
of it, please don't. But like, interesting.
But you can enjoy it without like
It's
this
just-
is a thing that I want to do myself.
It's
Like
just-
that's
you have
not.
to suspend reality a little bit because
Yeah.
like there are some things that I read in smut, like especially like a lot of dirty talk, where I'm like, oh shit, this is so good. But then like if I try to picture like an actual sexual encounter, my partner would say
Jay
that.
said this
I would
to me.
straight start laughing.
My golden retriever
like,
partner,
who are you trying to be right now?
who it would just
like, what have you been watching?
What?
Good try,
Where
baby.
did you learn this?
That's a good try.
Yeah, like
you
gold
angel.
star for you, but we're not doing that anymore.
Thank you. A for effort.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so I mean, Streets and Sheets, like,
Yeah.
you know, smut versus reality, it's always kind of on the table as we're reading any of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think there is something to be said for the fey dick of it all. Like the sheer
dick of it all.
The dick of it all. The sheer largeness that we're talking at all times. I don't know that really can translate to real life unless you've listened to our Red, White, and Royal Blue episode in which we unpack
his package.
his actual package in great detail. Thank you, Brandon. Okay, our next point. Nesta shows off her training to recruit her girlies.
Super smart.
Emery and Gwen and Nesta. Here is my thoughts on here. Nesta is, in fact, a cult leader. She's got the riz. She's got the cult leader riz.
I hate that word.
I care not.
It's nasty.
That's
a nasty
not
word.
a good word.
It's perfect. I don't think riz is short for like. I don't think this.
No, but
I know what it means. I just don't like it.
I know.
I think it's for charisma, right? But I love. So okay, we talk about this every pod, but you know what? This is my story. This is where I came from. This is what I lived with. So grew up in a cult, a fundamentalist cult. I know the Duggars, grew up with them, and some of their best friends. The point is, the empowerment of women who have been oppressed and who have experienced trauma, and gathering those women into that, and like, hey, actually, we could swim in this for the rest of our lives, and we could be victims. Yeah, we could, and you know what? We damn well deserve it. We were aggressed against. This is wrong, and it hurts. It does hurt, and we could stay locked in the library. We could.
Nothing will ever happen to you.
But nothing, you know what? If you never do anything, if nothing ever happens, then nothing ever happens to you.
Nothing will ever happen to you.
One of my favorite quotes when I was like healing and growing and trying to decide, like trying to feel out, like, what do I do with the rest of my life? Like, do I give in? Do I stay in this? And I could, but the favorite quote is, a ship is safe in the harbor, but that's not what a ship was built for. Like, so it's like, yes.
It's never gonna get broken in the harbor. It's never gonna be shipwrecked.
Yeah,
it'll be very pretty and shiny.
It is safe there, but that's not what a ship was built for. Like, ships are built for the open sea. And so it was really beautiful to hear Nesta going in and she had Cassian come in and they started a fight so she could show off her training. But it was just like a gentle invitation of like, hey, girlies.
I loved that.
Hey, do you want to feel what it feels like to feel powerful?
Yeah, it was so smart. And that's modeling.
Yeah.
We know that modeling is the most effective way to teach people how to do things, especially when they're vulnerable and scary.
Dear God.
So to take it upon herself to I'm not good at this either. I'm learning, I'm figuring it out. Just top notch, so
I've been
trauma
through shit
informed
too, and you know what? If you'd like to come alongside me, let's learn together.
Yeah,
and
creating opportunities, creating space, not forcing anyone to do something they're not ready for.
Yeah, it's an invitation,
exactly,
because it has to be by choice. And I mean, if we're honest, big existential side of things, that really is my just as a little Anna over here. That's my journey. That's what I feel called to in life. Is just inviting people into their power if they'd like to join me, because I know what it feels like to be deeply disempowered and to not have access to safety and support and strength. And actually, your strength is there for the taking if you would like to tap into it with me. Come alongside. Let's go. So it was a very, just from me and my story, it was really, that was special to watch.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, these girlies are going to get strong and they're going to tap into their strength. And Cassian and Asriel are going to help them. They're going to do a sweet little help. And they're going to be very respectful.
Very respectful.
Respect. So that was very cool. The next point is Emery and Gwen and Nesta.
Just the three girlies.
I love them.
Their bubble bath.
Their
sleepover?
That was healing. I had just watched The Princess Diaries 2. Best around reading those chapters.
We've covered this on the pod.
Just watched this?
The universe conspired in the favor of like women loving women, like women supporting women, and like not feeling embarrassed or ashamed about like
that's misogyny.
Yeah, for sure.
That's just some weird gender
how
shit.
women connect to each other, and that's beautiful.
As the turntables.
And they don't have to wear their little like lingerie and have a pillow fight to serve the male gaze. They're like fully clothed in bathtubs only full of bubbles.
Yeah.
It's just safety.
Your hair's up on top of your head.
So
the
safe.
makeup is gone. You're wearing a big
With a mask
t-shirt.
on,
The biggest t-shirt, the blanket wrapped much like I have this one around me now.
Play. It's girlies who were, you know, taken advantage of. Their power was captured far too early. It's stepping into this power of like, okay, let's actually have some joy.
We're a little silly.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I said earlier that maybe it was a male ghostwriter, but I don't think that's possible.
No.
This was definitely
Female
a woman.
friendship is hard to write
Yeah.
if you're not a girly.
Yeah, it's important, and it's that love and belonging. Let me tell you.
I love that there wasn't any like unhealthy competition either. I think that's hard to avoid in like a female friendship
competition
story. Yes,
Yeah, I
like
did
there's
love
always
that.
some tension, and there was tension at the end when Gwen was like, "Let me die," you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Like there was tension between them because Nesta like passed her the fuck out and was like, "We gotta get out of here. Like she's not gonna make it." But it was never them competing against each other.
Not at all.
You just don't have that in storytelling about women. Like that doesn't exist.
That's because that's not actually what we want.
And their girl talk was so sweet. Like, whenever they were just talking their shit about Cassian, and she's like, yeah, I mean, he's like a really good lay. Let's talk about it.
And Emery was like, bet. Like, what do you, like,
tell me more. I want to read some fucking smut. Let's go.
I want to read
the smut through line.
I don't think we have a bullet point for this, so I'm going to bring it up now. But, like, the house is an honorary girly.
The house
House is a girly.
Wait, what did you say?
I have a note
Is
later.
there one?
Nesta wanted a friend, so she made the house her friend.
Because Nesta is testing out safe relationships again, right? And so she's building a relationship with a magic house.
Oh my
which,
God.
incidentally, I love that we get to jump around this plot. It's great.
Yeah.
But incidentally, the house bemes hers. Hers.
It's hers.
And Cassian's.
And it's her friend.
It's like, this is your friend. This house actually loves you, honey.
The house is like, I'm not going to give you any alcohol, but I will give you some porn to read. How about that? We'll compromise.
It's giving mother.
Yes.
It's giving like house mother. She's like it reminds me of
presence.
it reminds me of Pose of like the queer ballroom scene in the 80s and 90s. Y'all know about Pose? You should watch it.
Yeah.
The show's really good.
No, I've heard it talked about. But
It's just this like like the house mothers are canonically like kind of like they're hard ass, like they're these like
tough
queer women who have like lived lives, and so they're kind of mean and they're kind of rude, but they're also deeply sensitive and deeply nurturing and deeply protective,
maternal.
Like younger queer people. That it's like, yeah, this is hard. Like this is gonna hurt. This is what's vulnerable. Like this is, but it just is so. Like the house was kind of rude to Nesta, but in a way that like Nesta couldn't have tolerated kindness. Like she wasn't able to have those kinds of interactions with anybody in the beginning. And the house just like met her right where she was at.
Yeah.
And I love the house.
My God.
I love
I
the
love it.
house so much.
The house was a darling through line. I enjoyed.
That was
very
great.
much enjoyed.
Yeah.
Who would have thought the house that I thought was very much Farrah's with all the paintings? No, it was actually Nesta.
It's Nesta's.
It's Nesta's.
The next point we've got is Nesta daydreams about Paris.
Ooh.
Tell me.
So this is the infamous scene that SJM took out of this book.
So mad.
So she daydreams about being Eiffel Towered by Cassian and Azriel.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
So this scene exists in the world, and it's not in the book.
So SJM, honey, why?
Please.
Why?
You know we were here for it.
you
Please.
take this from us.
If you're going to tease us with it, just give it to us. Like, even if it is like a dream sequence, sure, fine. Write it.
It's all a dream sequence for us.
Yeah.
I'm just dreaming over here.
Oh my God.
Well,
so was that when Nesta just talked, she just made a mention of like there had been a couple of times that she had multiple males in her bed. Is that what like took over?
Yeah,
instead of
so she had talked about having multiple males, and then like Cassian and Azrael are like they're practicing, they're training.
She's like turned on about
it. She's just like thinking about like she's like, oh, I just picture this in my head, and it's just like it's a quick mention of like what it would be like, and then there's
to be worshipped by two men.
Yeah.
To be the center of attention are the words that she uses.
I think she gets explicit about like. I think she's explicit about.
Oh, she says like dick in her mouth and like.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Very good. Yeah. Very good. Like, I don't know.
If only.
It's like, if you wrote, like, the specifics, like, of where Azrael is and where Cassian is, why did you just not write the whole damn thing?
Just don't even tell me at that point.
Yeah.
Like, don't, like,
give us the whole damn scene.
Maybe the world was not ready, but you know what? The world actually is ready.
I was ready.
I am quite ready. And, but you know who's not ready? Azrael cockbox Cassian. We don't need a chaperone. The next point here is Azrael cockbox Cassian.
He's there to chaperone.
Mm-hmm. So who designated? Did Rhys say that he's?
Yeah,
Rhys, fuck
just
off.
go babysit
Why?
them.
Because
Rhys doesn't.
Rhys is a totally different person.
Yeah,
in
this
book.
is not my.
It's different.
I miss it
because in the other books, it's all like. We talked about this in a previous episode too. Of like they have a very healthy relationship
with
to sexuality in their friendship.
Yeah, bro,
it's like, all right, you horny bastards.
Yeah.
Like y'all need to go get a room because I can smell you both.
Yeah,
like, it's very cheeky. It's very like joyful and fun, which is what sex is supposed to be. It's
not stigmatizing, but Azrael.
Yeah,
I think it's so that she can focus on her training.
Well, so this is the scene that Hope was talking about earlier, where Nessa's like sucking Cassian's dick, and then like it is going to go further. But then Azrael just like walks in.
Yeah.
And he like knew what was
exactly
happening.
What's
He's like,
happening.
Of course he did.
He like says, "You let her suck your cock where I eat." It's like, okay, you could not be here.
Get the fuck out then.
Then go away. Let us live our lives.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was a weird. I mean, it was cheeky and funny that Azrael was like, haha, but also, I don't know. I get that he was cock-blocking Cassian, not. He wasn't trying to.
He was cock-blocking us. Really.
Yes, thank you. Azrael, you were cock-blocking us and our enjoyment. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because I think that Nesta and Cassian were fine. I think they were doing fine.
Yeah, they.
I don't think they needed a chaperone, really.
No, I think they were handling it just fine.
Also, they're mates. Like, why we gotta gatekeep?
I
don't know.
It was sweet. I did enjoy reading about, especially because the mating bond between Rhys and Feyre just like took such a different form.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed reading when they were like making love and like having the
invisible string of it all.
Yeah,
well, yeah,
I liked that.
She was very much like, what
is this?
Right?
And I was
this
like,
is like nothing I've ever felt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what is this? Like, this is something I've never.
Like, bitch, come on,
bitch, you stupid.
We are mates. And it's like, oh,
big, dumb.
Silly. The next point is Cassian pulls Lady Death out of a nightmare
by kissing her.
Oh yeah,
little Sleeping Beauty.
Like something only a mate could do.
It does. I liked that scene too.
Rhys is like, you warmed the whole room. Rhys is also an idiot too.
Rhys, dumb,
like
dumb,
big dumb.
He's
baby.
like, I'm
big
confused about what's happening here. You warmed the whole room and like you're very protective. It's like, are you a fucking? You can read
Rhys,
minds.
Look at the
you
title
idiot.
of the book.
Rhys is an idiot.
Rhys, turn to the cover.
He just never
Silver
has
flames.
been. He never has been.
Bless
He's
him.
always the smartest person in the room.
I guess he just is traumatized by his mate being pregnant now, and so we're supposed to assume that he's lost all of his like powers of observation.
He can't think.
But like, I just don't think that's
not my man who was under the mountain for 50 years.
That's exactly right. He didn't survive under the mountain for 50 years just to be like.
This is just inexplicably a different dude.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Well,
okay.
you know, we didn't sign up
Not
for
my
that.
Rhys.
We didn't sign
Not
up for
my
that,
Rhys.
but the next point is the bog.
Big scary
we touched
bog.
on it a minute ago. It's a 0 out of 10 for me. It's
stinky and still, and I've like.
Was this where she climbed the tree?
Yes.
Or she didn't climb it. She was clutching like a little baby koala.
I did love, this is like the first big action scene. I did love that she was like, Cassian's been gone for a long time. I'm going to go find him.
And then at the end of the scene, Cassian's like, it was 30 minutes.
It was half an hour.
It was, you were up there for half an hour.
But please tell me more about how we're not mates. But
okay.
She's like, I just couldn't bear to be.
Go
it's
on.
like, I think he's fine.
I think he'll
be right back.
I think he's an Illyrian warrior.
Not
He
gonna
said
be
that.
fine.
He told you that he was going to be fine.
Just sit tight, honey.
Like as he's flying her to the tree, he's like, I know what every second costs me now. Shut up. Like,
shut up, leave me alone.
Cassian has it under control.
But you know what? Nesta's falling in love. And speaking of Nesta falling in love, the next point is Cassian and Nesta be fucking.
They do be fucking.
They be holding on to the headboard, baby.
They really do. They really do.
Oh, of all the times to close the door.
To fade to black.
All the times.
I'm sorry. You're going to give us a 20-page description of the throat fucking, but then you're going to have Cassian say, hold on to the headboard, and you're going to fade to fucking black?
No.
That's all I really care about is a little doggy style moment. Like, that's actually what I am invested. How many pages at this point?
Face down, ass up, baby. That's what
Face down, ass up.
That is honestly the most underrated. Is it underrated? I don't think
it is underrated.
I just don't.
Research shows that is the most pleasurable position.
It's preferred.
Jay will be like, I'm sorry, this was more for me, and I'm like,
no,
I think you misunderstand the G spot. I think you misunderstand the angle of it all. Actually, I initiated that. It's important.
It's important.
I don't know,
and we don't get a lot of it. We get a lot of missionary here. We get a lot of missionary. We get a lot of girl on top. We get lots of cowgirls and reverse cowgirls.
I don't want to be cowgirling.
And then we're gonna fade. I was pretty butthurt about that. I really was, because I knew that the bite the headboard was a thing, and then I just expected for it to be more.
God, no. Why would we do that? Yeah. We gotta be frustrated. We
are anti-fade to black in general, but definitely anti-fade to black when you've already written full sex scenes and then you fade to black afterwards. No.
Yeah, I'll never understand. I'll never understand the choices that some people make in their editing, but that is how that went.
I hated it.
But we got enough to understand that. Oh, okay, they're having a good time.
They're having. They do be fucking. That's true.
They do be fucking.
Great for them.
It's pretty hot.
Nestle Tool House is fucking. The next point is Nesta points at Tamlin, capital LMAO.
The death finger, yes, bitch.
So the death finger. If I were to have any superpower, I'd be the death finger. Perhaps the death finger.
They say looks can kill, and I might try.
Take a shot, everybody. I think that I would like that one. I think that would be a good skill, a good power, because there are a select few. There are a select few human beings who I would like to and I would like for Tampon to go away.
I would like him to not exist anymore. I thought we were done.
Why?
I was very intrigued. There was the one little passage about there are whispers in the spring court of a beast roaming around in the whatever, and this idea that he's been in his beast form for so long. And I'm interested. I do want to hear about that, but it was just dropped right in there, and then we never talk about it again.
But then there's also those weird little things where it's well, if Tamlin finds out that she's pregnant, he's going to lose his mind. It's why?
What?
Yeah, they're we got to protect, because if Tamlin finds out, no, that's her ex.
He's off doing something else.
We all moved on.
We tied that up and sent him on his way.
I'm confused about the way that we either are not talking about Tamlin, or he's this big looming figure that I'm supposed to care about.
I just
surely don't. No, I don't give a shit.
The only thing I care about having Tamlin in a storyline is I want us all to sit down again for a meal, and I want for him to shoot off at the mouth about some kind of bullshit, and then I want for Reese to hold him in silence where he cannot speak.
I want
a public humiliation.
We want to see the meaning of the High Lords again. Is what we want.
That's right.
I'm all right with
what I want.
with Tamlin coming back to be humiliated.
Fine.
I'm okay with that. But I would like for us to not just keep on bringing.
Don't just drop. You're just reminding me periodically that he exists,
and I don't care.
And I don't want that.
I simply cannot care.
We've covered Tampon. Yeah, truly. Okay, the next point. Nesta finds the harp.
Again,
what do you know?
She found it.
She found the Pokemon.
She scryed.
Gotta catch them all.
Yes, gotta catch them all.
Exactly the same as last time. She got that when she was scrying.
It was looking at her.
It was seeing her back. The abyss stared back like no one knew it was going to do.
Every time they mentioned, like, when she's like, well, last time I scryed, the cauldron looked at me, and then it took Elaine.
Wait, are we fantasy girlies? I don't think we actually are.
So when I picture the cauldron looking at Nesta, it's like... animated, like it's animated, so it's like squishy. It's a squishy back.
Look at her.
It's like looking at her.
I just can't take it seriously. It's like an ultimate villain deity.
2 eyes emoji.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. The cauldron's not looking at
cauldron,
you.
babe.
No disrespect
That sounds
to
like
our
something
fantasy
that you
babies.
need to work out on your own. The cauldron ain't looking at you.
No disrespect. And also, absolutely not.
Folks, if furniture starts looking at you, you need to go see a doctor. That ain't right.
You know, Elaine's seeing things, Nesta's seeing things. I don't know. But you know what? She found the heart.
She found
the heart. Good for you.
Something
She's
about
gonna catch all the Pokemons.
Something about Lyastris or Leon or who was it?
Himst?
The Lord of Death.
Yep. The Lord of Death.
Leon. What's his name?
Kings of
Leon.
That's them.
And his cell door was open. That was the big plot thing that happened there.
Scary.
That was scary.
Yeah, we were scary about
all
that.
The demons.
And Cassian was like, Nesta, he was run.
Oh no.
Run.
Again, I don't know that we're actually fantasy babies. I think we're just smut babies.
No, we're smut babies.
We're smut babies.
We can hang with some fantasy, and no shade to our fantasy lovers. I am not. I'm in a little Lord of the Rings moment. I don't know. I just reach a point where I'm like, okay, really,
all right. It's just not what I'm here for.
But you know what I am here for is our next point: friendship bracelets, all caps, crying emoji.
Yes.
We touched on that.
Make the friendship bracelets.
Take the moment and taste it in your bubbly bathtub.
Yes.
The power that she imbued into these charms.
We got it.
Someone's got to talk to her. Has anyone had a conversation with Nesta about, like, do you know how you make things?
She just does it. She just be doing
I know
it.
she does. And everybody's
It's
having
vague.
conversations amongst themselves.
They're talking about her behind
like,
her back.
Yeah.
Her power. This is her body. This is her life.
No,
Inform her.
If everybody is aware that when she's feeling strong emotions, if she's...
She's never been phased. She doesn't know.
Needs to know that
she
information.
Grew up human, thinking that the little ash will keep the fae away. But it's just I don't. I feel like when Feyre stepped into her power, and Feyre specifically, everybody was like, "Let's talk about this. Let's inform her. She's in our culture now. She's gotten these skills. Let's train her as a fae."
That was the OG like Tamlin versus Rhys. No, we need to keep her power from her to protect her.
Hey, good point. So now in this book, here we are just letting Nesta blindly. She has a fucking power of death.
Her power is death, and you're not letting her.
Nobody going to talk to her about that?
Thank you. Yeah.
Nobody going to let her know.
This feels like a sex ed moment.
We
just
have
educate her on her power.
Yeah, please. And
it's a metaphor.
We've been talking so much about women in friendship, women's relationships, and I think Amren did Nesta dirty.
Yes, Amren also sucked in this book.
Amren sucked, and Amren was one of my favorites, and she had her big self-sacrifice.
She came back as a normal little
point
person
at the end.
Okay, but
a normal female.
I just don't think that Amren would have let that shit happen because she and Nesta were so close.
Yes,
I think she would have. Nesta needs to know.
Why? I
hate it. It's the patriarchy.
I was expecting the whole time. It's patriarchy and capitalism. I was just expecting the whole time for Amren, for there to be come to Jesus and them be pals again, and there wasn't. And
we didn't even hardly get to hear about the big blow up they had on the boat, on the barge or whatever.
Why we gotta have beef? That was a through line that I genuinely, and again, I took it. I was like, well, I guess I missed something, but no. It wasn't clear why Amren and Nesta were not pals anymore.
And then they finally talked about it, and it was not even that, whatever Amren had said to her or whatever. It just wasn't that big of a deal. It just fell very flat for me, and I don't think Amren would have done that. And I think Amren would have been...
that wasn't really Amren. The Amren we knew. He was a totally developed character in ACOSF.
Amber is also like a pretty impartial kind of like I see her as a
pretty
neutral.
Objective.
Yeah. Like she's a true neutral. That. Where so like things like little arguments like that aren't going to make her flip on you.
She didn't care.
Yeah, she don't care about that.
And as soon as they figured out about those swords from the blacksmith, she would have been like, "Yo, Nesta, don't make things.
Don't be doing that.
When you
Stop
like, let me
shit.
inform. Like, let's be aware of. I just don't. I just think that whole.
How else could Nesta have understood her powers? She needs people who understands special powers to come in and inform her. This is not. You can't Google this. You can't go into the annals. I mean, I guess you can.
Somehow they
research,
had the wherewithal and the knowledge to help Feyre navigate it with literally all of the powers of all of the different High Lords. But somehow this one power of death just makes everybody be stupid. Like nobody knows how to.
Away?
Yeah, I hated. That was tough. And
that's an
just
important
incongruent with the rest of the series for me.
Mm-hmm. It was incongruent. Yeah, Cassian was trying. Like everybody was. I don't know.
He didn't know. He's dumb.
Big dumb boy.
Himbo. He was doing his best.
Yeah, bless him.
None of this was Cassian's fault.
Okay, it's not Cassian's fault.
We're a Cassian apologist over here.
Yeah,
I think
he's just a big dumb himbo. That's okay.
Yeah, but she was
doing great.
Wiring in goodness into her friendship bracelet. She didn't even know it. She didn't know it.
She didn't know.
Yeah. Well, you know what? At least the house was looking out for her.
Yeah, we talked about that already, so we can skip that one.
Nesta wanted a friend, so she made the house her friend. Adorable. Okay, well, a quick skip. So this was fun because last night we watched the game together. It was a fantastic game. But I was like, I think I'm in the slow descent to whatever is going to happen because Nesta gets ripped out of her bed. Just in a little nightie. She's in her nightie. Nesta and her Emery and Gwen.
They went over to Emery's, right?
Yeah,
they having a cuddle.
They were having a little cuddle. They were having their little bonding moment.
And they were like, it smelled like men, and I was like, no.
It smelled like men.
Ugh, that was
the Valkyries
terrible.
In the blood right.
Our Valkyrie babies.
So we started this talking about the three brothers in the blood right at some point at the beginning of the book, and now the Valkyries.
Now we're doing it.
Yeah. You know, we didn't see this coming, and was I excited about it? Absolutely not.
No. Well, this is another thing that was like, this is just another, like, we mentioned the blood right at the beginning. I guess we're going to do it now. Like, another plot thing that's like, here's the conflict. Here you go. We're going to throw them into, like, this really scary situation.
I did think it was fun leading up to that when they did the training, the, like, obstacle course. Mm-hmm. That then they had
and
like...
they got to collaborate.
Yeah. That was sweet. And they had the leader of the Illyrian, whatever... Drogo, whatever dude's name.
Khal Drogo.
Khal Drogo, yeah. Whenever they had him come and watch without telling them... I thought that was cool. Of like, we're proving to you that like these women have objectively like passed their training or whatever. That was cool. And then we lead up to it, and
they're in a bubble bath and they get stolen.
Yeah,
in the night.
Stolen, and then it was very Kmart Hunger Games again. It was super suddenly, and I was like, why are we back here again?
It was wild.
And she's shoving her feet into random people's boots and like sleeping in caves, and
I don't know. Well, and it was giving the slug. It was giving the slug in ACOTAR. Like it was
worm.
just
The
a
worm.
The worm. It's just why we gotta have a Hunger Games moment at the very end.
I did think that the glowing bracelets was really fucking cute.
The glowing bracelets was precious. That was great. That was perfect.
It was giving Lord of the Rings with the little elf.
The
thing.
Yes.
The pin. The elf pin.
It's on the edge of my tongue what it's called. Yeah, but it's just such a good... That was beautiful. That was really lovely. I also precious.
Am remembering that the way the book was broken into 3 parts to mimic the like Valkyries training. Like I remember being in bed and like finishing a chapter when they had gotten like stolen away, and then the next page was like part 3, like whatever, and I was like, oh shit. Like that was a very effective part structure for me. Yeah.
Part 3 were going into the descent.
I just hated it.
Except for that you hated it.
I hated it.
Yeah. Again, y'all, if you love this book, I think what people are saying when they say that they love this book is they're saying that they love the fucking in this book.
The spice.
Nobody I think actually likes this plot.
Especially for people who have been reading ACOTAR and being like, oh my god, it's so spicy. It's not that spicy. And then they go from like, ACOMF, ACOWAR, and then to Silver Flames, like, oh shit, it's really spicy.
It's much spicier.
It sure
Yeah,
is.
try actual smut.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like if you're coming to Silver Flames for the smut, like it's good.
It's good smut.
You could also do that without all of the world. Like you can just find the smut out there and not
it's
have
everywhere
to,
actually.
Not have to invest
not have
thousands
to
of
do all this
pages.
other bullshit.
Hey, look, I'm not
Yeah.
saying this series is bad. I think
No,
ACOMF
I
is
mean,
one
I
of the
love
best
it.
books I've read in the past 5 years. I think it's an incredible book. Just
Now
this
we
one's
read,
not very good.
We read these. Like it just
And I'll continue reading them.
Oh,
let's
for
be
sure. I'm
clear.
gonna read the
Like,
next one.
Yeah.
we have high standards. I think that it's I'm never like out here being like, oh, this is a terrible thing, I'm not reading. Well, every now and then I'm like, this is not great, I'm not going to invest my time in it. But like, I don't know. We can enjoy the good parts and be like, what on earth? What on earth is happening here?
Yeah.
The next point, all caps, her mate taught her well. Gabriel, what did you mean by this when you said her mate taught
Was
her
this
well?
when she was standing them down at the passive?
She lost her sword in her piece or whatever the fuck it's called. Atraxia or something. And she lost the sword and then she was going to have to fight him hand to hand. And he was like, do you really think you can take me in a fight? And she was like, well, my mate taught me well, so yes. Actually. Yeah, and
My mate! I got goosebumps.
The first time she recognizes that he's her mate.
Yeah,
which is
that was sweet. That was sweet.
It was fine.
Sweet.
I don't know. I think it's goofy, but okay, they're together. It's
I know.
sweet.
I liked it.
It works.
She's
Yeah.
admitting that, like, no, I love him. I think the idea of like not being able to have any autonomy to choose that this is your mate or not, don't like that one single bit. But the fact that it's like this is your mate and you get to choose. Not the wrestling of like, do I want to be with him? She gets to choose, and she chose. She gave him a cookie, and she chose.
Yeah, I will say, when I was reading The Blood Right, I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. I was super into it. And then after the fact, I was like, well, okay.
That happened.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it was, I think, again, as with all of these, I do not leave enough time to actually, like, process the slow, like, the insane, like, at the last, like, handful of chapters. And so it's always just like, what is happening? Yeah, it's really stressful to be like, okay, I have this many hours to finish this. I'm tired. I'm trying to cram this all in. What Helion is doing, what I still don't understand. Why are we dancing with Helion? Like, Helion? Like what? Like that? Like all of these? That was before the blood right, I think. But it's just.
Oh yeah. That was dumb.
The political intrigue.
I love Helion. I just was like,
Same.
what's the
But
point?
what's he doing here?
What are you doing here?
Wait, so who was the one that she was?
Eris. She danced with Eris.
Is Eris the one?
I'm here for that.
I'm
ready to hear
Eris is
more.
hot. I'm into him.
Wait, no, who was the problematic one?
Eris.
Eris, who?
He's our morally gray baby.
He's the morally gray one. Okay.
Lucian's oldest brother.
The Autumn Court.
Oh, Barons. Okay.
I really need to hear about him and more. I need to hear more about it.
I just want like Eris to find some like
curious.
sweet little angel. You know, he's
to protect.
Yeah.
Maybe Elaine. The brotherly
that
chaos.
would be a plot that I would be into.
A love triangle
between Lucian, Eris, and
oh my god, it's like the Summer I Turned Pretty.
I was gonna say yes. I'm like, this is
I still
oddly
haven't watched.
reminiscent.
I need to watch
This is
it.
oddly reminiscent of many hours of my life at this point. What plot point have I invested in? Oh, it's the Summer I Turned Pretty. Yeah, the next point we've got here, y'all. Feyre and Rhys and their stupid fucking life tie come on. Okay, that's literally the talking point that Katie wrote.
What?
So why did they
fuck?
when did they make this life tie?
I don't know. It happened off screen. Like happened off screen.
Yeah.
It did?
It was like,
Yes.
Well, this is a stupid life tie.
they bound their lives together, so if one of them dies, they both fucking die.
Stupid.
Feyre,
Stupid.
that is not
What
my Feyre,
point
and
does
that is
that
not my
serve?
Rhys.
Stupid.
That's
Neither one of
Not
them.
my president.
I'm sorry.
That's
Not- yeah.
not hot.
I'm sorry. Rhysand would never agree to something that would end Feyre's life.
Agree.
Yeah.
Never in his life. He's like,
Because he's doing risky shit all the time.
end of the last book, he kills himself to
For
save
her.
Feyre. Like that was never gonna happen.
Ghost
hated that
Rider.
shit.
Never gonna happen.
Ghost Rider that perhaps did not read the previous books.
I just nothing to do with the rest of everything, and also
Maybe
to
there's
just
an
throw
editor.
it away as like,
A hot take.
oh, we never told anybody.
it was a secret.
Yeah, shit. Y'all tell everybody everything. Y'all like fuck in front of people.
Yeah, I know. I hated that.
Well, it makes me
in the
wonder
sky for all to see.
in the sky, literally. Yeah, I need to read the Christmas special. But yeah, I think it's maybe there's an editor that changed that had some opinions. I don't know. We've got questions.
Well, it's stupid.
But speaking of stupid, Nesta gives up her powers.
Also fucking stupid. What is happening?
So that was interesting. I get the symbolism. I get what we're doing here. No. I get that it's like, oh, Nesta has discovered how to love people with an open heart.
Mm-hmm. Good for her. She can do both. She can be powerful and do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we have power and we're cold-hearted and alone, or we're soft and tender and feminine and weak and we are able to be loved? Is it an all or nothing? Maybe, I've really got to know, but maybe there's a male editor who's like, actually, these are the things that have to change about this book. And then maybe SJM is powerless over this and just has to be like, I don't know, I just want people to get my book.
I don't know.
This is a different book, though. This is a different series.
Yeah,
entirely.
I truly think of it separately from the first three.
I think that's fair.
Because it's just like, these are not, like, I think Nesta is an incredible character. I love her in this book. But, like, all the other characters, like, all the way down to Elaine, like, who are these people? Yeah. Whomst? I have not met these people.
I have not met these people. Yeah,
very
different. That was hard. That, like, they were the same characters that I've loved and I've invested a lot of time in at this point. But I was just so shocked that, like, oh, wow.
Especially to like break down a character like Reese that you spent so long building this super resilient, like seemingly morally gray, but like actually
quivering mass of nerves.
Yeah, he's just so devastated that his partner is pregnant.
That's not like the most powerful High Lord who like spent 50 years under the mountain to save his like city of Valaris. Like that's not
self-sacrificing. Yeah, not my president. I don't know.
And then who came back and still ruled over them as this like man of the people, male of the people.
I can't get over it. Every time they say this male, and I'm like, oh my god, my brain. It's like, oh my god. Like one time Cassian was coming and he said, oh my god.
Oh my god. God's damn.
Cauldron help.
Cauldron. Mother save us.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
No, I don't. Yeah, no. Reese is pretty unrecognizable in this, which hurts.
It hurts because we love him.
Team Reese this
whole
time.
First time I saw him in ACOSF, I was like, that's my man.
Here he is.
You know, that's all right. Something else happened here, and Reese will always exist in the other books. But Nesta gives up her powers, and then the next point. Nyx is a stupid name.
I hate that name.
Nyx is the name of the Greek goddess of death.
Oh, well, good
so it's interesting that there's a little like gender bendy moment there of like this is a son.
I like that.
Traditionally like
and because our girl Nesta gave up her powers reportedly, just and got them back somehow.
Is that how powers work? Like I think once they've tapped into them, they're like
right.
I don't know.
I don't understand. And then she just had the crown and the harp and the mask and
a partridge in a pear tree.
Yeah, and a partridge in a pear tree, just there in the room.
Just there. Well, she summoned them. Like calls to like.
Oh, like calls to like. They will bow to her. It's one ring to rule them all. Like this has been done. I am not a big fantasy, but I'm not against. But like that, like I do know, like I have seen that plot before.
I think that's why it feels so unnecessary because it's not anything new, and it's like you didn't even have to introduce this. Really?
Yeah.
Like we could have just had the character. I mean, I guess
there had to be something.
I think that they could have done much more like political stuff.
Yeah.
Or even like they had this like big anticlimactic war with Highburn, and now they're like we have to figure it out. And I would have enjoyed reading a plot where they were like rebuilding and reconciling,
and but they Nesta getting a place in the court and like
and they even talk in the book of like, oh, I thought that we would be able to like chill a little bit before facing down another big fucking enemy, and it's like I think probably you would have I think there would have been some chill time.
Maybe that's the overarching story is that now they go and I don't know. It makes me wonder like. Where is this series going? is there something we don't know about the series? Like, are there wars and battles that were?
I'm curious about that from like a writing, like I don't be writing anything, but like
I've always
how
been
much
interested.
did SJM know about the whole plot
TV
beforehand?
books. I'm always fascinated by this concept of like, you can tell whenever you thought this was a one season, whenever you thought this was one book,
totally,
and then you have to make some real judgment calls that don't always make sense, but like sometimes people can pull it off. They can be like, I didn't know this was going to be a multi-series, multi-book situation, but here I am having to make a whole world that I didn't anticipate.
She knew because the whole first book.
How did she or did these come before Crescent City and Throne of Glass?
I don't know.
We're not. Sorry, we're reading other books usually, but no shade. I love our fantasy babies. And okay,
it reminds me of. It doesn't remind me of, but it makes me think of Harry Potter, where like the first 3 books actually have nothing to do with like the plot of the series.
Plot,
you know, and when you read the first 2 into Prisoner of Azkaban again, it's like, oh, we're not talking about any of the important stuff that's happening in this series.
so she knew by the end of Rowling knew by the end of book 3.
I mean, I think she always had talked about like Hogwarts is 7 years of school, and so she had talked about doing 7 years of like
But the Deathly Hallows of it all was not
in the beginning
of that.
Oh,
like she just like added that in,
and then the story got fucking good.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't grow up reading Harry Potter in real time.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't part of my lore and part of my upbringing. And so it's an interesting, I read it all as a set later on. I didn't read it as it came out.
Right.
That's interesting. I didn't think of that. Harry Potter's the same thing.
It's the Gossip Girl effect where they didn't know what the fuck they were doing the whole time, and then by the time it was the end, they're like, oh shit, we gotta figure
wrap this up
We
somehow.
gotta figure out who's Gossip Girl. I guess it's Dan.
But I guess.
I guess it's this random guy.
But think about how many books and series there are, because you can't guarantee that you're going to get a huge book deal. You can't guarantee that this will be a trillion episode series. There's no guarantee, and so you just kind of have to write and film and hope for the best.
That's why
I think there's a lot of works like this.
Yeah, I'm genuinely curious about it.
Yeah.
Of like, how do you even? Because she just had to have some long view. Because otherwise, I don't know. I don't really understand how that works. And so,
but you have to have some long view.
There's some.
I mean, you did because like introducing Reese and ACOTAR, obviously there was going to be some more.
At least
clearly there was going to be more.
I think the only way you could actually like write a book in a series and know that's going to be a whole series is just already have previous series under your belt, and then go to your publisher and say, hey, I have a 7-book series, and this is the big picture story arc, and these are the little pieces of how I'm going to get there, and then they say, cool, you've got a book deal, and then but keep it on the DL that there are more books to come. You know what I mean? Like I think that's the only way to really build it up.
Like I kind of thought, I think there's a clear enough tie between like, in the first book, you think Amarantha's the big bad villain, but then you learn it's actually the King of Highburn.
Right.
And so, like, that makes sense. But then it's like, oh, well, we dealt with Highburn, and all of a sudden that's not a problem. So now we have to manufacture these other queens. Like, we have to manufacture these other, like, plot.
And we haven't even mentioned Briellen or whatever.
Yeah, Briellen.
Yeah.
What is stupid name? Who is that?
She's I almost said she's an adult. She's a human. And she
she's not anymore. She's a crone
she
now.
Evaporated.
She's done spooky old lady.
She died.
She's a hag.
Oh yeah, we got her.
Yeah, she
evaporated.
She dusted like Thanos, baby.
She Thanosed right on away. One more little. Well, it evaporated. I think I made a new note. Okay, a note here is, and now we're altering our bodies for childbearing. Nope, bye. I'm done. So that was interesting. I hated it. I do not. I am not saying that being a strong, empowered warrior woman and being a mother are mutually exclusive. I've never said that. In fact, I will always debate that you can have both. But I don't love that she went in and she tearfully then told Cassian, I have also altered my body
is now
so that I can have a baby with you.
Oh my god.
Maybe
Nesta would never.
Maybe Nesta's whole personality changed.
So when I read this,
I don't know. Isn't that what happens? You get married and your whole personality changes?
So when I read this, and I know that my view, because I read this last year, and so my view was obviously tainted by women getting their rights stripped away. I was like, this is so fucking pro-life propaganda. I was so pissed.
You felt like it was?
That's what it felt like at the time.
Well, yeah, well, you can't help to read it through our lens.
I was like, life imitates art. Like, this is... And I don't feel that strongly about it anymore, but at the time, I was like, no, we're entering into this time where, like, women's bodies are in danger, and, like, and the whole themes of, like...
And Reese and the baby.
Right, it's like, everyone's gonna fucking die because of this. Because of pregnancy, because of birth, because of reproductive stuff, it's like... Why are we doing this? Like, the altering of the uterus was just...
That was tough.
That was a miss. That was a miss.
I didn't like that.
I just... Good for her, I guess. And if it's so infrequent that you ever get pregnant with a bat baby... then, like, why are we altering our bodies? Like, it's almost impossible. It never happens.
Also,
and the mama always dies.
Like, this is Nesta, too. Like, it took her this whole fucking book to even, like...
The about face.
Make friends with Cassian.
Right.
Like, in real life, you know?
To Cassian and
so
not just suck his dick.
like, so quickly go from, like, that was a big leap. Like, we all... clocked the first time she referred to Cassian as her mate in the last like 50 pages. That was huge for her.
I've actually now altered my uterus.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I have anticipated that no.
Yeah, I don't. I feel like for folks who have difficulty with pregnancy and don't have the ability to just change your uterus to make it the way that you want, like, that's so fucked.
Hello.
Like that. Yeah, that's a good point. Of like some folks, it's like, oh, it's that easy. You can just have the powers of death, and you can just go in and alter your whole body. I guess that's fantasy. Like that's, but like, is that what we want? Is that, I don't know, strange? And maybe it's to move the plot along, but this is where writers need to be careful, because it's like, we are here in the real world, and we're reading about this through our lens, and like, you can friendship, fantasy has a powerful ability to tell the stories of our human lives with some elements that make it feel like we can use the themes of being human, but with some color and spice and beauty of the fantasy of another world. That's the beauty of fantasy. We've always known this, fiction and fantasy. Like, but I think fantasy and fiction, when it's done really beautifully, it's capturing what it is to be human, and it's putting it in a different color, and it's putting it in a different way so that we can actually see it and stomach it and see ourselves in it. And so I think you can't just, I don't know what the intention was here. I don't know that it was a pro-life thing, but
no, obviously this was written before all that stuff happened, because it came,
we all read it when it happened.
But yeah, so like people were reading it as that was happening, and I think that was just, it was bad timing and just like a poor use of media.
Bad timing, but also I think that is what, like, it makes the whole book suddenly feel super patriarchal. Like, okay, so now what you're telling me is that the two main women that we've been following again for thousands of pages now, their ultimate resolution of their characters is like, I gotta get ready for childbirth.
They're finally happy because they're having a big fucking ceremony, a big wedding, happy, and now they're having babies, and now that
nothing to do with that the whole time. You know Nesta has never ever wanted a baby.
I want some books about fucking Amryn. I want some books about fucking the Morrigan.
I
want some books about these powerful women doing literally anything else. Our girls deserve better. We deserve better than just women who their whole point is what their bodies can do for men and for babies. Like, that's just, there's more to it, folks.
And we've gotten better from that. Like, in this series we've had such like depth and character and so much stuff. And so for it to like, oh, okay, well, once again, we're rounding out with women procreating as like fucking
of why we're here. Yeah. And I love smut and I love it, but I love it because it generally is empowering women to take a hold of, I don't know, y'all, I don't think you've ever, I don't know, maybe people haven't really been oppressed.
The idea of smut,
I don't know.
or the idea
try
of smut
for size and come back
why we do this podcast is to center the stories of women and to give women a space to experience sexuality in a way that is not patriarchal. And that is like, that's why smut exists, because it's written by women, it's for women, it's for the empowerment of women.
Our sexuality.
And when smut that's supposed to be for women and create communities of women does stuff like this, it's very, very detrimental to,
I agree,
like, feminist movements all over the place.
The sex is hot, sure, but like I just want my heart is just that women have options and that they choose, like, and for us to just like say, oh, the story's tied up in a neat little bow. I know the series isn't tied up, but like, these are powerful, world-changing women, and we're tying it up beautifully by saying that they fell in love and are having babies.
Yeah. All of a sudden, it's not subversive at all, which is the whole point. Is like we're subverting these expectations.
Well, it would be one thing if they were doing that, and they were, Nesta was leading the Valkyries. Actually, she expanded to all these other women. Like, could we literally do anything? Like, I just want to both and. I want my friends who are moms. Like, I want people to step into motherhood, into whatever. Like, feminism is like setting people free to do whatever they choose to do with their lives.
Yes, choice is the whole point of it.
I just want there to be a choice, and I want people, I want to illustrate as much as I can, if for no one else, for myself, so that I see that there's hope, that like there is hope that you can actually have a beautiful life that contains more than just sacrificing your life, your body, your soul, your everything for someone else. I don't know.
Right. But this is telling us, the audience, that the end game is, well, eventually you're going to find a man to settle down with, and then you'll want kids.
You're going to give up your power like, so you can be with this really hot dude. And it's like, I can have both, though. I can have the hot dude and also be very powerful. And lead armies.
I would love...
Taylor Swift is the perfect example.
And that's why
Travis Kelce, big hot himbo.
Well, she leads armies.
Yes.
Literal Swiftie armies. Like, I think it's important that we have women like this speaking up and saying, hey, it doesn't have to be.
You don't have to do that.
It doesn't have to be, like, you can have whatever you, like, we...
Por qué no dos?
Por qué no los dos?
What does it mean?
Why not both?
Why not both? It's just, like, and as long as we perpetuate that this is what women want, then our girls are going to step into this, they're going to say, this is all I'm allowed to have, number one.
100%.
Number two, people are not going to speak out against the injustice of the white men who are structuring a world in which this is all women want. This is all we will give them. All we will give them legislatively. All we will give them in terms of maternal leave. All we will give them in terms of daycare. Like, I mean, we fucking, like, here, 100%. We're like, how could I ever procreate? Like, please. There's no maternal support in our country. No. So the very, like, our economy rests on this trope of, like, women have
it's
no,
like, no, you have
agency.
Have those babies, but we're not. That's on you now. You had that baby. That's your fault.
Yeah, it's your
You told me to do it.
Yeah, you told me to. You built a whole culture around this being the only point of my existence.
So then, when I do it, you're not going to support me. I don't have any money left because all of my salary goes to daycare because I have to work because I have to feed this baby now.
We have the luxury of choice. Like, we have chosen this. Thank God. Like, this has been our life so far, and like, what a gift. And, like, some people aren't given the luxury of, like, playing this out. And actually, like, do I want this? Is this really what I... Like, they find themselves in
Especially when they take your choice away, or it's like, I guess I have to do this now.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if you're... Yeah, there's so many iterations, but especially with Roe v. Wade overturn. It's just, like... It's... I could talk about it forever. And it's just really important that representation matters.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just think it's so harmful to have landed there despite all this other storytelling and all this like this trauma informed, this like person centered, like very like it's all about like self knowledge and self acceptance and growth and like all this shit.
Where the first 3 books was like empowerment.
Yeah. Well, maybe the next
and then
book,
all of that went away.
Maybe we're wrong. Maybe they're gonna be like, hey, actually, Nyx and Minx, their cousin, they're gonna like go. No, that has to match. They're gonna go like, they're at this, they're doing something enriching that's beautiful in their lives. They're being raised by a village. This is really powerful, and the mamas are out here killing shit. I don't know. Like, maybe there's something we're missing. Maybe it's gonna shift. I sure as hell hope so, because it's just I just think it's really important that women and girls see that.
I know
that, like, I mean, especially if you're a mom, especially if you've already got kids. Like, hey, what are you going to do with your life? You have one wild and precious life. What do you want your kids to see?
How disappointing this is. I don't know. I don't have kids, but like I imagine if I were
my friends
a mom reading this for some like escapism, how disappointing to be like, oh, she just had kids too.
Even like, more so for the mamas who have the babies.
It feels like to be empowered a little bit of like you kind of brought us into all of this like this whole world that
I thought I was
taught
going to
us
be
for some like we could do something different.
Well, Savannah said that. She's like, I thought that this was going to be a good time to read, but it ended up it was just about birth trauma.
It makes me want to call a mom and like because Ashley, who's also a mom, she felt the same way. She read the whole thing. She's a big SJM head.
And she felt the same way.
She's read all the books, all the SJM, and when she read Silver Flame, she was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Okay,
like,
good.
Yeah. And
well, we get to call that out in our friends who are moms. We get to say, "Hey, this isn't right. It doesn't have to be this way. We empower your choice to like live a different life."
Yeah, and she was like, "I don't understand this. Like, how can you?" Like for her, it's like after I had babies, I became more pro-choice than I ever had been in my life, and like this book made it seem like the way that I was thinking about things was wrong, and I know that that's not wrong. And I mean, I don't want to blame SJM for the patriarchal values.
There's more going on there.
Yeah, like, it's not. And
okay.
I mean, I think if you're providing media for the masses, you need to be careful with what you're doing. There's responsibility there. Yeah. But maybe people like it and relate to it because people do like this book. And
I'm curious if they like the birth trauma situation and the forced birth.
I really do.
I don't know that anyone can actually like that.
Yeah.
I really liked, I mean, let's call it what it is. I did appreciate the like taking the veil off of like you were saying of like, oh, you're gonna glow and your hair's all thick
gonna be
and
so
beautiful. So like I like that we were talking about how scary and traumatic birth is. But then again, these empowered ass women characters that we've been following are like, oh, that's totally worth the risk. No questions asked, no conversation needed with my partner. I'm gonna alter my whole self to have access to that.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. Like, we never asked if Cassian wanted to risk his mate's life.
They never talked about that. They never had a conversation about it.
Maybe Cassian would like to not lose his mate after he just got her after 500 years.
That's something that V and I have talked about a lot in our own like fertility journey. And he has landed very firmly with like, I'm not interested in you being pregnant. I would love to have kids, but like I'm too scared.
Yeah.
Aww. And like that's a valid place to land.
Jay has said many times, he's like, I would rather have a happy, healthy Anna than have an Anna who's a shell of a person, who's not okay, who's always touch and go, and a bouncing baby bundle of something lovely.
100%.
He's like, I would rather have you.
Yeah.
Which means like so much to me.
What a healing thing to hear from a partner.
It took years.
Yeah.
And it's genuine.
Not a common story, I think.
He's like, actually, you as a human being matter more to me than your ability to procreate.
Right.
Thank God.
I think that goes unspoken and unexperienced a lot by people. And
y'all have a
missed opportunity.
Expect that and ask for that. Like hot take, but I just think that women have value as they are.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
period.
Absolutely.
Not for our ability to bring life into the world, but just as we are magic. Yeah. We are powerful, just as we are.
Yeah, and
not for what we can do.
Yeah, it's healing to have a partner say like, you don't have to do that.
I would actually rather you didn't.
Please don't
just protection for you.
Don't do that to your body.
Don't do that
you
to yourself.
Have to do that.
Yeah.
Like
and just like. You are actually more valuable to me, happy and healthy and well. I want you to have the story arc, and you know, if you chose and if that included then like I empower that, but ultimately whatever makes you feel like a person. And I'm like, hot damn, all right, because that sets me free to live my life.
Yeah,
and both can like you can be a whole person and have
that's
17 kids.
Saying.
Like
Please.
That's
sure.
Yeah,
and we need those women to speak up. Like, if y'all are
this is not a causality. Like having kids does not make you a shell of a person.
Thank you. Speak on that. Yeah,
you can still be a fully developed, self-actualized human. And
we need you to raise healthy, beautiful, well-adjusted kids.
Please raise
But you know how you do that? You do that by being a whole person.
You're taking care of yourself, and so you can take care of others.
Love mamas. We support, and we will always cheer them on. And we know it's hard. We're not saying you got to do it perfectly, but can you like go out and have drinks with us and be a person, please?
Yeah.
Like we'll babysit your baby so you can go be a person. Like, I don't know.
Or like, come to brunch and I'll go outside with the baby so you can have an adult conversation.
Yeah, because I value your wellness. Like, you're women. Y'all are worth more than just your ability to bring a child into this world.
I think
I wish I would have heard that much earlier in life.
It just doesn't have to be a default, I think, is the crux of what we're getting at. And the way that this book wraps up is just only reinforcing that, like, this is the default.
So important. Like, that we say that's not a default.
It doesn't have to be. You can go through this whole healing, learning, loving journey and not want kids.
And that doesn't mean that you're broken.
No.
Actually, it means, like, the more healed I've gotten, the more I'm like, hey, actually, I think I'm worthy. And I, no matter what I choose, and I think I choose to go against the grain. And I think that I'm really thankful and happy. And I think that frees me up to provide the community support for the women who are well equipped to be mamas. I don't know. I think we need more communities like that. So, y'all, I will babysit, I will nanny for you so that you can go be happy and healthy and well, our sweet listeners.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the moral.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got to talk this out because I listened through. Yeah, I don't even know how this book wraps up. It's
some stuff happens with Eris.
Okay. All right. Sure.
Sure.
That's my last point, was some stuff happens with Eris.
Which begs the question, is Eris going to come up in the next book?
Surely.
Oh, yeah.
I'm confused about
he
what
was like under the control of Bree.
Bree Allen. I swear to God, her name was Bree Allen, which is the stupidest name.
American name right there.
Yeah, I think
Bree Allen.
I think it was Bree Allen.
I think she ran out of creative juices.
Oh, yeah.
But he was under the control of her the whole time. He didn't actually betray them.
Okay.
Oh, right.
So again, we learn that Eris is not what he seems. Like, he's probably. I'm thinking he's probably going to end up being
deeply
a good person.
morally gray. Yeah,
I like the complexity. I like it.
I'm into it. I was really sad that we didn't get to talk to Moore.
Moore did not exist.
She was just gone.
Moore was not even.
She was just out of here.
Was just angry.
We're getting fucked.
Yeah, we're getting fucked,
which cool.
Good for her.
But like, she was such a good character in the last book.
I see what everyone means about ACOSF being so fucking good. Because it's the, what are they called? Their family. It's just them all together. Their banter, their togetherness. Eat it up. It was not actually present in this book. It was vaguely present.
The whole inner circle just kind of
fell apart a little bit.
I did not feel the same way.
Or maybe we only felt that way because we were hearing from Nesta's perspective, and she was never a part of the inner circle. She hated the inner circle.
She and Reese hate each other so much.
So I did find that pretty charming.
Yeah,
maybe all of this
funny.
was just from Nesta's perspective, and she was angry.
She hated them. Yeah,
and Nesta's crying.
I did love that. Cassian pointed out that Reese fell to his knees in gratitude for Nesta, and he said something about like those sacred tattoos. I was like, okay,
there they are. There it is.
Right.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, thanking her. Wow, this was unexpected. This was quite the book. I don't know quite what I thought I was in for, but not this. And the fucking was good. The
spice was good. Yeah, it was there.
It was definitely there. Are we rating people?
Oh, God.
We've got so much time, y'all. I hope you've enjoyed about 3 hours.
I'll do my best to fix that.
Of our voices. You're welcome. You're welcome. I don't know what else to say.
I mean, in fairness, this is like a 700-page
really
book.
is.
Like, there's much to discuss, and Swifty Nation is alight with information right now.
That's
so
true.
It was always going to be a long episode today.
Yeah.
Y'all are welcome. Y'all are so welcome for it. Okay, Cassian, is he... we have an Azrael girly in the room. We're all Reese. We're all Reese babies. But
originally Team Reese, though I think Azrael will end up being... I don't know. It depends on who the fuck writes the
What's going to happen.
Yeah. Like maybe host...
Maybe we don't know him at all either.
I loved Cassian. I thought Cassian was wonderful. I really appreciated Nesta's everything. I was into that.
I love Nesta. She's one of my... I think she's a better main character than Feyre.
She pissed me off less than Feyre.
Yeah.
Like, there were so many times that Feyre was just dumb. I was like, Nesta, you're being a bitch, but I get it.
Yeah. I understand
I'm a grown-ass woman, and I'm like, I feel that.
I'd be pissed, too.
Yeah.
I would also get really drunk in this situation.
My handprint would also fall after I fall down the stairs. I understand a good tailspin.
Yeah.
Like, I've been there.
Sure.
She was much more relatable as the main character than Feyre was.
She was so messy, and it was so good. good.
So messy.
I
I'm a messy
appreciated
bitch.
that.
I was into that. Angry bitch is what we need.
I think chili peppers wise, this was pretty spicy, but out of 700 pages,
it took 300 pages to get to a kiss.
It took
Jesus
a book,
Christ.
An entire smut book to get to a kiss.
and then it was littered through.
That's an important perspective.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of plot. There's
a lot of plot. I think this is probably a 3. I mean, the spice that's there is spicy, but there's just not as, like, the ratio is not
proportionally.
Is not good for me.
You know, wow. I hope I'm curious what our listeners think. I remember we were at drinks with a friend the other day, and she was like, oh my God, Silver Flames is my favorite one. Why?
Really?
Why?
Did she say this is her favorite one?
I know. You know she went and listened to the pod.
Oh, now I need to text her.
Yeah. I mean, we love any of our friends, our actual friends in real life who
I
are
need
listening.
to hear about that.
Yeah, we're curious.
But
I'm sure she would agree with us on, like, the pro-life stuff, but
the book club that we went to at the little local bookshop, one of the girls in that room said that Silver Flames was her favorite one.
That's gotta be about the spice. I can't think of any other.
It's gotta be
the spice, but if you're coming here for the spice, then, like, no, like, I can give you, off the top of my head, many other options.
I think it's, like, if you're reading, like, all of Sarah J. Maas's books, because Throne of Glass, like, there's no spice in that series at all.
Oh, really?
None. It's like it's very white. And then in Crescent City, like apparently the first one has some and the second one has more, but like this is the first series where she has actually done like full like explicit sex scenes. So if you're in the SJM
so
world,
like, oh, I love Silver Flames because they just like the fucking.
And you read Silver Flames like, oh shit, hold on to the headboard, that's hot. Yeah, it's hot, but it's fade to fucking black. That's what it is. That's what we call it in the biz.
Fade to fucking black.
Yeah.
Closed door. We don't like the closed door.
I don't like that.
Okay, so I respect the folks who are saying this is their favorite because I get what they're saying. They're saying this is their favorite in the context of...
She's got a really big dick and it almost doesn't fit. Hey, I love that trope.
But try on some Allie Hazelwood. She's done it about 6 or 7 times now. That dick never fits.
That's all she does.
Takes some maneuvering.
There's always a tiny little petite
She's a baby.
He is big. He's large boy. She's small girl.
She can't possibly fit that in there. She's shocked and amazed. Is she gonna leave her socks on? I don't know. That's great.
That's right. Anyway.
Yeah, listen to our other episodes.
Yeah.
This was enlightening. This was so refreshing. I listen to these books. I read some of them actually with my eyeballs. Surprise, surprise. But I listen to some of them and I'm like, what? But what do I think about this?
What do I think?
I need to externally process this on a recorded podcast with my girlies.
I put it away, and I do not contemplate again until I am here.
Oh, I like that approach. What would that be like? I don't know. I can't make my thoughts do that because I'm just like, I'm like, what? Why? How do I feel about this?
I don't know how I feel about it.
I think I'd know. I think I need to talk about it. I think I need to talk about it to know how I feel.
Totally.
And this helps.
This does help.
I hope this external processing helps others.
Every single book with like, okay, I read that book. And then I come in here and usually you are like, I hated it. And I'm like, no, I loved it. And then I start to talk about it. And I'm
reader
like,
here,
actually,
with all her AR points, she comes in.
Are we surprised?
I was the top AR point scorer in my school in the 4th grade.
Let's go.
That's so fun.
And for my reward, I got to go to lunch with the principal.
Congratulations on that one.
That's
we went to
not
the
a gift.
Rainforest Cafe in the mall.
No. Well,
that makes
anyway,
that's what I won.
And maybe one day you all can have lunch with your principal.
We wish that ending story for all of you.
Thank you all.
With the principal.
Thank you all so much for listening. If you have any thoughts, feelings, comments, or suggestions that you would like to share, please email us at ourkikikindlespod@gmail.com.
And if you email us, we may send you gift cards. We may read your email on the pod because
we've done it.
We do love.
We've done it.
We should give a prompt at the end of every episode. Send us your blank dating story. If any of y'all have dated a high lord,
Oh, yeah.
if any of y'all had a problem where the dick was too big,
Oh, yes. That's
that's
the
the
one.
one.
Here.
actually,
That's
tell
the
us how
one.
did you fit it in there? Well, you're a small girl.
Small girl, large boy.
He was a large boy. I don't know. Tell us more.
Tell
I'm
us
curious.
more. You follow us on TikTok at OKKPod. Follow us on Goodreads to see what we've been reading.
You can't know until you look.
That's right.
We can't know until the updates.
Coming up and on the docket, we are doing a Bridgerton series for cuffing season.
We sure are. We got us some cozy cuddle. Oh, y'all, turn on the fire. Grab some wine and cheese.
That's right. The new season's coming out in December,
Watch
so we'll be doing a series leading up to the new season. Get y'all nice and prepared for Penelope and Colin. So stay tuned for that.
But listeners, we love you endlessly. If you listen to our podcast, you are one of us. You are
girly just like
the only reason that you would be listening.
You are one of us. If you're in here after 3 hours, then you know what? We love you endlessly. Thank you for listening. We enjoy it.
If you're still here 3 hours later, please rate and review the podcast because that helps the algorithm show it to more people. We want to grow our smut army
because
of weirdest. Smut is better with friends, and we always love having more friends.
Me too. Okay, we love y'all so much.
We love y'all so much.
Until next time,
hold on to the headboard, I guess.